of you for the warm support to Free Fire esports in the past years. I know all of us can't wait to find out what's next for Free Fire esports in 2021. So today, I am very excited to share with you what we've achieved so far and what we are planning for this year. Let's start with our biggest esports event in 2020, the Free Fire Continental Series. By the way, I hope you still remember my terrific performance at the opening ceremony. We broke records with the Asia Series, where 2.5 million of you tuned in to us live. The America Series also had a peak of over 1.7 million live viewers. Meanwhile, the EMEA Series also drew in nearly 300,000 live viewers, creating new viewership records for us in the CIS and Middle East regions. Your support was absolutely amazing! The Free Fire family just keeps growing. You guys rock! The World Series, together with the rest of our tournaments, pushed Free Fire into the top 5 most watched games on YouTube in 2020. Last but not least, we won the Esports Mobile Game of the Year at the Esports Awards 2020. We are humbled by your passion and love for Free Fire esports. This award is yours as much as it is ours. Hayato, it's your turn to talk about the World Series.
Sure. We have continuously expanded our esports outreach throughout the world, and the number of participating regions have grown massively. We started with 9 regions at our very first international tournament, the Free Fire World Cup. Over the past 2 years, our esports community has grown to include India, Russia, the Middle East, and the Pakistan regions. Our plans to grow further do not stop here. And in 2021, we'll be adding Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Philippines as competitive regions.
Yay!
Next, we're proud to present the brand new logo and format for the Free Fire World Series, our largest and most iconic tournament of the year. This year will be bigger than ever before. There will be 2 World Series in 2021. The first World Series will be taking place in Asia during April, while the second World Series will be hosted in November. In addition to these, there will be another international tournament around July. So stay tuned for the rest of the year.
In 2021, we will continue to work hard and provide more engaging esports events and content. We are excited to see Free Fire esports grow bigger this year, and we know we can do it with you as our loyal fans. That's all for now, and we will meet again very soon in April for the World Series.
See you soon!
Hi survivors, subscribe and press the bell icon for more awesome content. See you in the next video!
এখানে কিন্তু আরো একদিকে ডাউন করে ফেলেছে আমাদের তাই আমাদের এসকে দা স্কাই কিন্তু অসাধারণ সুমন ভাই এখানে থার্ড পার্টি
নোড়া লেগেছে কিন্তু ওপেনে থার্ড
আনলিশাল টিমারের একজন ডাউন তাকে এখানে থার্ড পার্টি
টোটালি গেমিং কিন্তু ওপেন লেভেলে থার্ড।
বাংলাদেশের লাস্ট প্লেয়ারটা কি করে শেষ রক্ষা
যখন আমি দেখি বাংলাদেশে বড় বড় স্পোর্টস ইভেন্টগুলো আসছে তখন আমি গেমটিকে ক্যারিয়ার হিসেবে গ্রহণ করি।
যখন বাংলাদেশে টুর্নামেন্ট হইতেছিল টপ 18-তে ঢুকছি তখন মনে করছি গেমটাকে ক্যারিয়ার হিসেবে নেওয়া যায়।
যখন আমি রেগুলার টুর্নামেন্ট খেলা স্টার্ট করি তারপর থেকে ভালো কিছু ফলাফল আসার পরে আমি শখ থেকে তখন গেমটিকে ক্যারিয়ার হিসেবে নিয়েছিলাম।
বিভিন্ন লোকাল টুর্নামেন্ট এবং টুর্নামেন্ট জেতা শুরু করি এবং বিভিন্ন ইন্ডিয়ান টুর্নামেন্ট জেতা শুরু করি, প্লাস যখন স্পোর্টস ইউটিউবারদের ফলো করা শুরু করি তখনই আমি ভাবি যে আসলে এই গেমকে স্পোর্টস ক্যারিয়ার হিসেবে নেওয়া সম্ভব।
মূলত গেম শখের বসেই খেলা এবং সেই শখের কারণেই বিভিন্ন টুর্নামেন্টে আমি অংশগ্রহণ করি এবং সেখানে আমার পারফরমেন্স ধীরে ধীরে ভালো হতে থাকে, যার ফলে আমি সিদ্ধান্ত নিই আমি আমার গেমিংকে নিজের কেরিয়ার হিসেবে বেছে নেব।
একদিন র্যাঙ্ক পুশ করার সময় আমি আমার ড্রাম ড্যামেজ নিতে গিয়েছিলাম, তখন আমার নেট চলে গিয়েছিল আর সেই সময় আমার 3টে টিমমেট নকডাউন ছিল কিন্তু তাদেরকে আমি হিল দিতে পারিনি।
একটা টুর্নামেন্টে লাস্ট জনে অনেকটা বেশি ছিল, প্রায় 10-15 জনের মতো। সো সে ওখানে ক্যাম্প করে প্লাস ওর স্ট্র্যাটেজি মেনে ও এতজনের মাঝেও সে বুয়াটা নিয়ে এসেছে।
বাংলাদেশের টপ 48টা টিমের মধ্যে আমরা ছিলাম, এটাই আমাদের প্রিয় স্মৃতি।
এফএফবিসি কোয়ালিফায়ার 4টা ম্যাচের একদম চতুর্থ যে ম্যাচটা ছিল ওটাই আমরা টোটালি কামব্যাক করি এবং 17 কিলের সাথে আমরা বুইয়া করে
রুবি আজিয়াটা 2টা সিজন খেলে ফেলেছি। এছাড়াও কোটাশপের একটা টুর্নামেন্ট আমরা টিম ইলেক্টর থেকে উইন হয়েছি।
কোটাশপের সেকেন্ড রানার আপ হওয়া এবং এফএফবিসিতে টপ 18-এ কোয়ালিফাই করা। লাস্টের দিকে গেমিং উইথ নাইমে জোন এলিমেন্ট
इज लेडीज प्लेयर। आपका जूनियर 11th भी। आपने गोल्डन वॉक भेजा था क्या?
हाँ, और क्या ऑनलाइन था ही नहीं।
सो आई गेस वी आर द डायनामिक डुओ।
प्रैक्टिस करता है, अभी भी नूब है।
वो तो पूरी आगे बाद ही पता चलेगा। बचा है।
Let's not underestimate.
वैसे मेरे भी 5 kills हैं और तेरे भी 5। क्या मैंने ठीक खेला?
ये तो बुया के बाद ही पता चलेगा।
तू वेट कर, मैं देखता हूँ।
अबे रुक जा, मेहनत से ही शीरू का कैरेक्टर जीता है, इसका फुल यूज तो कर लेना।
Previously on What's Up Free Fire. Huh? What is this place? Free Fire? Welcome to Season 2. I'm back! This is our first episode of the new year, so new enhancements are in order. First up, a big one. Training Grounds Remake. This island is now bigger and better looking. A new, full-sized racing track is being constructed, allowing you to experience the thrill of speed with your friends. Now all we are missing is a super fast car. The target range is also renewed to provide more visual feedback as you hone your skills. An esports Hall of Fame will be built beside the social zone. Get up close and personal with your favorite team and professional players. Revel in their glories as you forge your own records in the game. You know, I kinda miss Moko. Okay. But seriously though, we are the dynamic duo, don't you think? Now you can form your own dynamic duo. The new partner system allows players to form closer ties with their best buds. As you game and socialize together, your buddy meter increases. More benefits will be added soon, but feel free to tell us what features you would like to see in the comments below. Players will also get a personal name badge. Something like this, displayed in your profile page. Together with this addition is the Battle Tag. Earn it with your performance in each match. This is your badge of honor. You can also visit other players' profiles and look at their ranks, playstyles, and battle tags. Talking about buddies, a new revival mechanism will be introduced in Battle Royale. After completing a series of tasks, it is possible to bring a fallen teammate back into battle. But I must warn you, it is very challenging. You guys asked, and we delivered. The developers have heard your desire for more weapon varieties in Clash Squad. Now, popular weapons will be arranged into multiple sets and rotated as you play more games. May more choices bring more victories for you. And before we go, here's a quick look at the weapon balancing adjustments in this new patch. That's all for our Season 2 premiere. See you next time on What's Up Free Fire. Hi survivors, it's me again, Kelly. Huge thanks to all of you for the warm support to Free Fire esports in the past years. I know all of us can't wait to find out what's next for Free Fire esports in 2021. So today, I am very excited to share with you what we've achieved so far and what we are planning for this year. Let's start with our biggest esports event in 2020, the Free Fire Continental Series. By the way, I hope you still remember my terrific performance at the opening ceremony. We broke records with the Asia Series, where 2.5 million of you tuned in to us live. The America Series also had a peak of over 1.7 million live viewers. Meanwhile, the EMEA Series also drew in nearly 300,000 live viewers, creating new viewership records for us in the CIS and Middle East regions. Your support was absolutely amazing! The Free Fire family just keeps growing. You guys rock! The World Series, together with the rest of our tournaments, pushed Free Fire into the top 5 most watched games on YouTube in 2020. Last but not least, we won the Esports Mobile Game of the Year at the Esports Awards 2020. We are humbled by your passion and love for Free Fire esports. This award is yours as much as it is ours. Hayato, it's your turn to talk about the World Series.
Sure. We have continuously expanded our esports outreach throughout the world, and the number of participating regions have grown massively. We started with 9 regions at our very first international tournament, the Free Fire World Cup. Over the past 2 years, our esports community has grown to include India, Russia, the Middle East, and the Pakistan regions. Our plans to grow further do not stop here. And in 2021, we'll be adding Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Philippines as competitive regions.
Yay!
Next, we're proud to present the brand new logo and format for the Free Fire World Series, our largest and most iconic tournament of the year. This year will be bigger than ever before. There will be 2 World Series in 2021. The first World Series will be taking place in Asia during April, while the second World Series will be hosted in November. In addition to these, there will be another international tournament around July. So stay tuned for the rest of the year.
In 2021, we will continue to work hard and provide more engaging esports events and content. We are excited to see Free Fire esports grow bigger this year, and we know we can do it with you as our loyal fans. That's all for now, and we will meet again very soon in April for the World Series.
See you soon!
Hi survivors, subscribe and press the bell icon for more awesome content. See you in the next video.
ফুল স্পিডে ফুল অ্যাগ্রেসিভ রেসে কিন্তু দেখা যাক এখানে কিন্তু আরো একজন ডাউন করে ফেলেছে আমাদের অসাধারণ গেম প্লে ফ্রম হটশট তাই আমাদের এসকে দা কাই কিন্তু অসাধারণ সুমন ভাই এখানে থার্ড পার্টি
थोड़ा लेके भी तो ओपन में था
আনইউজুয়াল গেমারের একজন কিন্তু ডাউন তাকে কিন্তু দুইজনকে আরেক সুমন ভাই এখানে থার্ড পার্টি
थोड़ा लेके भी तो
আমি দেখি বাংলাদেশে বড় বড় স্পোর্টস ইভেন্টগুলো আসছে, তখন আমি গেমটিকে ক্যারিয়ার হিসেবে গ্রহণ করি।
যখন বাংলাদেশে টুর্নামেন্ট হইতেছিল, টপ 18-তে ঢুকছি, তখন মনে করছি গেমটাকে ক্যারিয়ার হিসেবে নেওয়া যায়।
যখন আমি রেগুলার টুর্নামেন্ট খেলা স্টার্ট করি, তারপর থেকে ভালো কিছু ফলাফল আসার পরে আমি শখ থেকে তখন গেমটিকে কেরিয়ার হিসেবে নিয়েছিলাম।
বিভিন্ন লোকাল টুর্নামেন্ট এবং টুর্নামেন্ট জেতা শুরু করি এবং বিভিন্ন ইন্ডিয়ান টুর্নামেন্ট জেতা শুরু করি, প্লাস যখন স্পোর্টস ইউটিউবারদের ফলো করা শুরু করি তখনই আমি ভাবি যে আসলে এই গেমকে স্পোর্টস ক্যারিয়ার হিসেবে নেওয়া সম্ভব।
মূলত গেম শখের বসেই খেলা এবং সেই শখের কারণেই বিভিন্ন টুর্নামেন্টে আমি অংশগ্রহণ করি এবং সেখানে আমার পারফরমেন্স ধীরে ধীরে ভালো হতে থাকে, যার ফলে আমি সিদ্ধান্ত নিই আমি আমার গেমিংকে নিজের কেরিয়ার হিসেবে বেছে নেব।
একদিন র্যাঙ্ক পুশ করার সময় আমি আমার ড্রাম ড্যামেজ নিতে গিয়েছিলাম, তখন আমার নেট চলে গিয়েছিল আর সেই সময় আমার 3টে টিমমেট নকডাউন ছিল, কিন্তু তাদেরকে আমি হিল দিতে পারিনি।
একটা টুর্নামেন্টে লাস্ট জনে অনেকটা বেশি ছিল, প্রায় 10-15 জনের মতো। সো সে ওখানে ক্যাম্প করে প্লাস ওর স্ট্র্যাটেজি মেনে ও এতজনের মাঝেও সে বুইয়াটা নিয়ে এসেছে।
বাংলাদেশের টপ 48টা টিমের মধ্যে আমরা ছিলাম, এটাই আমাদের প্রিয় স্মৃতি।
এফএফবিসি কোয়ালিফায়ার 4টা ম্যাচের একদম চতুর্থ যে ম্যাচটা ছিল ওটাই আমরা টোটালি কামব্যাক করি এবং 17 কিলের সাথে আমরা বুইয়া করে
রুবি আজিয়াটা 2টা সিজন খেলে ফেলেছি। এছাড়াও কোটাশপের একটা টুর্নামেন্ট আমরা টিম ইলেক্ট্রোড থেকে উইন হয়েছি।
কোটাশপের সেকেন্ড রানার আপ হওয়া এবং এফএফবিসিতে টপ।
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Free Fire Bangladesh Championship 2021. My name is Salty. Along with me, I have a person who is known as Ranjit Mamba Senior Patel to the people. But for me, in my heart, he's Mambu. Mambu, how are you?
I'm doing great. And Mambo is a name that a lot of my friends call me by, actually. And it's not just the name, it's the way they say it. So usually people might refer to me as Mambo, Mamba Senior. They're just Mambo. And that is how they refer to me. So it's a pleasure to be on board with you, Salty. And of course, there's a lot of banter on and off the screen. But this time around, we'll try and keep it as little as possible because we're going to talk about the game at hand. And of course, we're going to talk about the teams as well because Free Fire Bangladesh Championship, we're halfway through. We've seen a lot of action, but there is still a lot of fight left in the teams which are not yet, up there. So hopefully we get to see a lot of fights. We get to see a lot of struggle and we get to see some quality content as well. But talking about the teams that are playing today, we have Team Silent, Mask Boys, GB2L, X8, Infinity, Electro. But talking about the rest of the team, Salty, why don't you walk us through them?
Yeah, Team Rage, Team LMC, Riot, Eclipse, B26 Mystics, and Team Swag. We've seen all of these teams perform for 2 weeks. This is the third week, Mamba, and this is where I would say that this is the business end of the tournament, business end of the league stage, to be honest, because after this, we'll get a complete idea of which are the two teams from each group who are proceeding to the grand finals directly and who are the ones who will be battling it out in the play-ins. Things actually get pretty deadly from here on because a lot of teams, the groups have actually taken a bit of structure. We kind of know which particular teams are the ones who will get to the grand finals eventually, but then the play-ins, it's going to be a bit harsh. Also, the competition for the second slot to the direct entry to the grand finals, it's going to be very, very harsh.
That is true. The second entry is going to be harsh, but we're going to talk about the format as well, about how the FFBC is taking place. But of course, we started off with the FFC mode qualifier, which is an open qualifier, and anyone and everyone can participate. Top 48 teams advance into the close qualifiers, from where the top 18 teams move on to the league season. And now we are looking at finding the top 6 teams which will go directly to the grand finals and the bottom 12 teams which will play in the grand finals play-ins. And the top 6 teams that we're talking about over here are top 2 teams from each group. That is our Group A, Group B, and Group C. And it's quite a wonderful format because, there's a lot of filtering. You go to the FFC mode, then you go to the close qualifiers. We have the league season, and which is a double elimination. So even if you don't make it in the first round, you still have a chance. It's like one more chance to make sure that you qualify for the grand finals and go out there and show your A game. So I love the format. Salty, what do you think about the format?
I absolutely love it because not that expert in coffees, but I kind of feel like the best coffee beans are the ones that are filtered the most, that have been handpicked by the best in the business. And this is exactly what we're doing here over here as well. We are handpicking those consistent teams out there. But talking about the Leadpoint Conversion, though, this is one important thing that we talk about every day to remind the viewers where we are at. So let's just have a look at the 12 teams that are participating in a group. We have Group A and Group B. Doesn't really matter where Group B won. That is the first team from Group B stands in the points table. As long as he is above teams from his own group, he gets 20 points at the end of the day. Similarly, does not really matter how big of a lead Group A's first position team has over Group B A's second position team. He might have a buffer of 100 points. It does not matter. At the end of the day, the first position team is going to get 20 points. The second position team is going to get 17 points, 14, 10, 7, 4, respectively. That is how the Leadpoint Conversion actually acts. And I kind of feel that this is exactly the way to go. I feel that it prevents teams from just rolling out of the competition. But talking of the league stage, which is exactly the competition, which is exactly where the competition stands right now, Mamba, we've played 4 match days. Each of the teams have played 4 match days. And I mean, we have a rough idea of which are the teams who are going to qualify, but look at the group of death, that is Group C. There's some serious competition going on.
Yep, that is true. There's a lot of competition with Team Riot being on top with 61 points. B26 and Team Rage tying it out at 58 points each. And now this is where things start getting tricky because which team goes up, which team goes down. Of course, we have parameters to make sure that we have a tiebreaker coming in. But at the same time, even Team Swag, right? If you talk about the 4th team, it is still well in the vicinity of the top 2 teams. So, well, everything's possible over here. And you never know which team is going to qualify or not. But talking about Group C again, we know for a fact that LMC and Eclipse are not going to qualify. And they will have to try their hand at, of course, the bottom 12 teams when they battle it out, the planes. So we'll see what actually happens over there. But if you talk about Group B and Group A, we have some clarity over there. So you talk about Team Infinity from Group A, which has 74 points. Well, they are fairly safe. I don't think GB2L is going to be able to overtake Infinity. So they are going to qualify for sure. But of course, just in a bit, we'll have a game start, number 1. That is going to be Bermuda. So we'll see what actually happens over there as well. So, Solly, I want to know what your expectations are from game number 1.
Bermuda has always been calm and collected. Teams do prefer drop locations where they don't really have to fight a lot, especially in the early stages. And that is something which I really like about it because that just goes to show that you want to play the Battle Royale the way it is designed to. You want to survive to the final circle and battle it out. But then eventually a lot of teams, they just don't really go for the research. They don't really go for where the other team is dropping. They just want to drop in at their favorite location, doesn't really care about anything else in the world. They just want to fight. And even that is something which I love as well. I love all sorts of Free Fire. It is just for the players who decide what type are we going to get served at this particular point on. But the flight path starts, certainly, pretty different flight path, to be honest. It does cover Bhima Strip, but it is not covering at the center of the map. It is definitely not going through the center of the map. So Mars Electric Sentosa will be a difficult point to reach, Mamba.
Yes, indeed, Mars and Sentosa are going to be 2 of the most difficult points to reach because they are that far away. But I still believe that the plane path in general is still fairly similar. It's not an extreme plane path. You would expect something like from the L block to the G block. That would be extreme for me. And I'm not quite sure what the zone is going to look like as well because now imagine there's an even more extreme zone. So that is going to mess with the teams a lot more than a normal or a default zone would because they would have to rotate. But I like B26 where they've dropped because they are looting around Bhima Sakti. They have control towards Kathulistiva as well because nobody landed there. And they're dead in the center of the map. So even if there is a zone which is just a little bit off, they will still be in the zone until zone number 3. And I think that's a great draw because that allows you to play the patience game and just wait it out while teams try and fight against each other.
Yeah. I know for a fact that Bhima Strip is one of your favorite locations, but here in Cape Town, we have 2 teams who have actually dropped in the high-tier loot zone, Team Cyanide as well as Team BB2L. Both these 2 teams are actually fighting it out for their place or their slot in the top 2 of the respective groups, but eventually, both of them are pretty far off. At the moment, Akib tries taking some shots against the crews, but not really connecting them. The fight is going to drag on for long because Cape Town, it's a pretty large, widespread area. And if you have to fight, you have to be very sharp on your skills. And there has to be intent on your fingers if you want to press those triggers for the kills. Because taking some shots, that's not really going to do a lot of damage. Eventually, the player's going to heal themselves up or fall back. But elsewhere, we have Team Riot, a team that has actually wreaked havoc in their own group as well as in the other groups. They have dominated quite a few fights, to be honest. not just fights, but I would say they have dominated days in this entire league phase. It'll be interesting to find out what Riot comes up with. Shuvo is very much down in terms of HP, but instead, Alvi is the one who takes the trade. Shuvo will be revived in no matter what, but he gets boosted himself. Alvi goes in hard at the moment, through the wall, but now he has to take down Ali from Team XP. What do you think is going to happen, Mamba?
Well, what I think is going to happen right now, Riot is coming out on top in this fight, and of course, Alvi is going to find the first blood, but Chuo almost being finished off over there is going to be revived, which is a good thing. The entire team is surviving, and Riot managing to knock off a team early on. That's a wonderful thing, because Team X8, they've just been eliminated from the server, and Riot just absolutely smashing it out of the park with the first fight.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really expect this team to... I mean, I did expect them to dominate, but I didn't really expect them to wipe out a team of the caliber of Team XP. It's just so early on in the game. We are barely 3 minutes onto the game, and we have a deficit of 4 players, and that is just insane. I talk about how Riot is a top quality team. Even being able to compete at the international circuit, I guess if this team progresses forward, they will have the potential to compete at the international circuit. But in their own region, though, they're just completely bulldozing the others, and that is just so cool to watch. In Cape Town, though, the fight is still dragging on. They're still trying to get better positions for themselves. But the map, look at the map, Mamba. I guess the teams are well spread apart at the moment. No real tension for anyone. The circle is a bit northern. So I kind of wonder where it's going to end at. But Bhima Strip is going to be a potential final circle position because it's right at the dead center of it.
Yep. But the zone is something that is always hard to predict. It's not something I can predict that well.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you want to stick to the basics and you want to play with the book, at least in the first couple of minutes in the game, because trust me, Battle Royale games are... Oh, that nade is going to do a lot of damage with the Chrono Shield coming up. And the Chrono Shield is something that has been the talk of the town amongst players, especially amongst rookie players and amateur players. Oh, Skylight is going to find... Wait, what?
He knocked himself out.
He knocked himself out. He knocked himself out. Oh, it took me a while for that to sink in because there was a nade which came in from the enemy as well. And that was unfortunate. That was just unfortunate.
I've seen this so many times, Mamba, especially in FFPC. We have seen this quite a while. Players knocking them out, not just with the hand cannon, but also with the grenade launcher that we have. It's just so unfortunate to try and get the entire team taken down by just one shot, but eventually you're the one who gets blasted out. That is really unfortunate, but the fight is still dragging on. Skyly will live to fight another day. He will eventually get revived and he will heal himself up, but the circle was pretty interesting for me because it kind of reminds me of the typical Bermuda circle. Nothing really much to play about as of yet. I guess the teams will have their standard rotations in play, but I mean, I want to talk about Team Riot though, Mama. The way this team has been playing, they're just hitting their shots out of the ballpark every time. It's like hitting a 6. It's like being Chris Gale in the world of T20 cricket.
That is true indeed, but then again, we can't draw a lot of parallels because Free Fire's game, which is so unique in its own right, that it's just hard to explain or to break it down, to break down the nuances of the game. And then you look at Chuo over here, who's just not stopping. He doesn't want to stop. He's gonna connect a headshot. What in God's name is that? Sky Shoot is going to fall down. I'm not sure why he actually repeat, because he knew he was being shot at, even though he could have maybe taken a shot or two, and he did some damage to Shuo, but Shuo at the end of the day coming out on top, getting that knock, and Riot is just running a riot. I mean, there's no better way to put it. I know it sounds silly, but they've just been playing so well that the other teams just don't have an answer for it.
It does not sound silly, to be honest. That is exactly what's going on our screens at the moment. Shobo, especially with the M249, he has been so critical with it. I guess it is just not useful for this team in the early stages of the game. But in the later stages, I've seen a pattern where Shobo is the one who destroys the glue walls in the final circle. And the rest of the players, they're just there to get the frags. But eventually, we have another fight brewing up. This is Team Mask Boys who go up against Team Eclipse. Team Eclipse, they don't really have a lot of cover to play with. They just have the crane and its foot to take cover at. That is not good shelter, Mamba. At the moment, Team Mask Boys, they have hard cover for themselves and they can completely tag ECL out of the game. If they connect a few shots and get a few players knocked down, I guess the rush can be absolutely deadly for Team ECL. They will be pinned down with nowhere to go, with their hands tied and they being in the submission position. They will have to tap out of this fight eventually.
they would definitely have to tap out of this fight eventually because it's not a fight they can sustain. And a lot of times it happens that teams bleed out other teams. It's not a wise decision to take on a fight, which is just going out there taking a 50-50. But a lot of times it's smarter to bleed out the opposition. Just keep them at bay. Make sure they're using their utility, their glue walls, their shields, and just get them off the timing. Because once you use up all of your glue walls or most of your glue walls, you don't have a lot of leeway in terms of rotation. And once you get stuck between a rock and a hard place, it's just as easy as it gets. Just click a button and there you have the kills. So you want to try and keep them at bay and not let the distance close in. Because once the distance closes in, you have to start using your own utility as well. So a lot of mind games can be played. It's just that teams sometimes get too carried away with fights and mechanical skill set.
Mechanical skills are definitely important, but it's all about the mind games, to be honest, as well. But Team ECL, they've kind of closed the distance. They're coming close towards Mask Boys, and they have actually given quite a lot of damage. Ardion is out there on top of the staircase, and he inflicts a lot of damage on one of the players, but eventually will get shut down. He has to force out the Chrono Shield to protect himself. Team ECL, I would like to credit them because they have closed the distance for quite a margin, and this can be a pretty even affair. I didn't really imagine this fight to be such an even affair, but Gibbon, he tries to evade that particular grenade, and he does so wonderfully. The grenade wasn't really cooked, but elsewhere we have one player for team. We have the fight between Team Riot and LMC going on. I would be so excited to watch that fight. Eventually, LMC is doing a very good job. Shuvo rushes in. This is not Riot's Shuvo, by the way, Mamba. This is the Shuvo for Team LMC, and Team LMC completely wipe out Team Riot. We eventually didn't get to see the entire fight, but I got to see the final kill, and I have to say I was pretty impressed. But elsewhere, we have two players from Team Mask Boys who are down. Bilal gets revived, and Bilal's survival is going to be very important because this is the player who just carries on the charge of the entry fraggers. We'll have to see what ECL can pull out because three players, they're just rushing in. They don't have fear of God. They don't have fear of death. Maru takes on Ardion, and there goes the sprays. There goes the fire. Tonma comes in from behind with the Tommy gun. Romjan is going to rush in. Will he get the 2 kills? He does. It's going to be Mehdi with his Tommy gun as well as shotgun. Romjan is going to shut down Gibbon with his final kill. Mehdi is out there to put the final nail in the coffin. Nibir gets taken down, Mama. This is something which I did not really expect. Team ECL completely rushing in and taking Mask Boys down. We talked about the odds were not in their favor, but they turned it around completely, 180 degrees.
Yep, they turned it around completely, 180 degrees. That is absolutely true. But, this is the beauty of the game because a lot of times you believe that one team has the upper hand and one mistake. And there's a quick switcheroo. And it's a no-you card being pulled out by the other team. And like, hey, man, you came in to eliminate us, but looks like you got to call an ambulance, but not for me. So that is what happens, and that is exactly what happened in this fight as well. In this case, so it's just a lot of fun to see. It's very entertaining for sure, and all in all, just a good package. But talking about Team Rage, they've had quite a slow start. Very ironic to the name because you would expect from Team Rage to go out there and just fight like Team Riot did. But then again, they've been surviving longer than Team Riot did as well. So I think I guess it works, but they don't have the kills. At least Team Riot, when they got eliminated, they had 4 kills to work with. So Rage, as long as they stay alive, they will have a chance to fight it out. And if you end up in the top 5 with 5 or 6 kills, I think that's a decent start.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure, Mamba, if 4 kills and being eliminated at the 11th position is a very good trade-off, but certainly it doesn't really work in terms of the points table or in terms of the standards of the other teams, to be honest, because they got taken down pretty early. I mean, they had no business trying to be that aggressive, especially they got a squad wipe into their name. They could have played for the point, they could have played for the positions, they could have played for the points, but eventually they decided to go after Team LMC, and that was their misdoing. Nonetheless, we have Team Eclipse, who are definitely in a very precarious position. It is Team Rage, who start raging at the moment, not really in terms of a fatal manner. They eventually won't be able to take Team ECL down, but certainly a lot of shots were fired, showing off the intent to kill. The thirst for blood is very much there for Team Rage, but I guess this is one team that channelized their aggression in a much better way, but eventually Team GB2L might just collide up against Team LMC. What's happening? The Cruz just walks right onto Team LMC. He had no idea. Sparking is the one who completely wipes him out. Skyleap takes him some shots, takes some damage. but will he be able to endure that? That's going to be the question. The shotgun pops out from Flips. He needs to cover himself with a lot of glue walls. The zone comes in as well. Sparking is going to be the man for Team LMC, who gets another frag for himself. Skyleap as well as Alpha. What can they do from here on, Mamba? I'm not sure. Skyleap still tries to protect himself with some glue walls, but nothing really. Sparking gets 3k from this particular fight, and I mean, that was manhunting out there from Team LMC. They have 8 kills right now at this point after 12 minutes, Mamba.
Well, 12 minutes in, 8 kills, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. Given the fact that we still actually have 8 teams in total surviving as well. Oh man, that's a wonderful start. And a manhunt, that was more like, that wasn't even a manhunt. It's like they smelled blood and they went for it. And they knew that the other team is probably going to be scared if we ambush them like that. And that is exactly what happened. So good for them, for the fight working out in their favor. But if you talk about Swag, on the other hand, they've been holding this compound for a bit. And Bhima Sakti is just one of those places where if it pays off, it pays off. If it doesn't, then hey, at least the early game is in your favor. But look at the zone now. Teams which landed at Bhima Sakti or around Bhima Sakti. Oh, that was a good shot. That was a good shot by the meme. But yeah, the point I was trying to make was teams that landed around Bhima Sakti or in Bhima Sakti, as a matter of fact, they've not had to rotate at all. Like literally at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of this particular position, but eventually a lot of rotation goes on at this place, Marva. And I feel like that makes this place a bit more threatening to the ones or to the inhabitants of the compounds here. But eventually when the circle ends at Bhima Sakti Strip, it can be pretty deadly. The grenade comes out, not really dealing a lot of damage to Maru, but then Mehdi is the one with the Tommy gun trying to inflict a little bit of damage onto Team Electro. We've seen Team Electro perform really, really well in the weeks beforehand. We'll have to find out what happens now. Ooh, that was a sick shot.
Well, we will definitely have to find out what happens now. But you talk about Tonmoy, he is going to take a couple of pod shots, but it will not connect a lot. Does have a Groza to work with, and he's being that healing gun is not going to save him over there because Tonmoy is going to fall to a nade, and Chuo is going to push in. So Tonmoy going down. We have Maroof who's going to get traded really quickly. ECL. All the hopes are onto Mehdi, who's trying to survive and trying to stay alive as long as he can, but he's going to go pop in. Can he survive? The sniper being used up at point blank range, but he's actually going to get that kill. Oh my god, Mehdi is going to fall to the sniper, and that's just unbelievable. Like, literally, he had the sniper in his face. They had less distance between the two of the players than the length of that actual gun that fired the shot. So, you know, it goes a lot to say about the skill of the player wielding the sniper. We've seen that a lot of snipers love to play close range, love to take close range fights.
Yeah.
But in this situation, it was just all the more better because there was a lot of cover to work with for the player trying to pushing in.
Ooh. The meme, I guess it was Kaishoot who got one for himself. Team Swag, they have some compounds to work with. The circle includes a lot of the teams, but then a lot of teams are actually coming in from the outside. Team number 8 is going to be one team that will come in from outside. Superman gets taken down. Team Rage, though, they have this block to play about, but I don't really think it's a very good position because if a team comes in from behind, you will be as good as dead meat. And you don't really want to do that. Eventually, I guess Team Rage will have to push forward and try and book a place deeper inside the circle. Team 9, that is Team LMC. They have 8 kills to work with, Mamba, but only 2 players are still alive. I'm not really sure if they will be able to manage an army that is coming up front of team number 3, that is Team Infinity. Team Infinity is a pretty good side, Mamba, and Swag takes one particular player down, even weakening the defenses. This is TMZ. He goes up against, I'm not really sure which particular team. It is going to be Team B26. He gets one for himself. The Max 7 is singing at the moment. The songs of death are certainly here, but TMZ, he knows exactly where the player is, and the glue walls will protect him for quite a while. But Team Electro is doing a very, very good job. Elsewhere, we have Team Cyanide who is going up against Team Infinity. Team Infinity haven't really seen a while, but Blade takes one player down. Santo returning the favor. Spartan is out there with the Max 7. He's still trying to dish out a lot of damage. The VSS, the Max 7, everything is going to come into play. One player goes down for Team Cyanide. Team Infinity is still out there, up and strong. I guess they're up and running at the moment. Sav gets taken down with the grenade launcher. The fight is still happening. Team Electro, TMZ is going to push forward. He knows exactly where two players from TV are. And the double vectors, they can shred at this distance. But it doesn't really matter.
Lord.
He will just wipe himself out with the grenade launcher, Mama. That is one tragedy after the other.
It's definitely one tragedy after the other, and that grenade launcher did not work out in his favor either. He did get a knock, But all in all, it was unfortunate if you die to your own nade launcher. But then Electro, they are going to be eliminated as well. Because, well, the last player just got taken down outside the zone. But Swag looks really, really strong right now. They are trying to take a fight with TR. But TR as well, they don't want to back off. They don't want to back down. They want to go in and push. So it's going to be a very short affair. Because both the teams are taking themselves head on. But Superman is going to get knocked out. It all comes down to Amin because he is the only player surviving for the team. Now, how long can he survive amongst all the other players? He's trying to stay alive somehow. Does get a knock in by the second. He does indeed find the second. All he needs to do is find 2 more kills, but he is going to get taken down, and that is going to be so unfortunate because he gave us hope. Not gonna lie, he had us in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that, all right, this guy's gonna make it with that kind of rotation with the jump peak, especially the kill. I thought that, all right, this can be start of some really, really good fight, a miracle probably. But eventually, I guess it was Team Swag. They had the better position right from the get-go. They had the higher zone advantage. They had the, what do we call, the high reach advantage from the start. So definitely, they kind of used that to their advantage, I guess. The glue walls couldn't really protect Team Rage for that long.
They had high ground advantage, and the glue walls are only supposed to give you temporary cover. But of course, in the last zone, there are not a lot of options. You got to use them to the fullest, and that is what they tried. But of course, it did not work out in the favor. And what a way to seal the fate of the opposition. But then again, 2 players being knocked down, out of which 1 was eliminated. I think that was a good fight.
That was definitely a good fight. 1 point for Team Rage as well, but Team Riot, I mean, we know for a fact that this team is pretty aggressive. They go aggressive right from the get-go, but I didn't really expect them to chase teams after teams, especially, I mean, I know for a fact that Alvi was in good form. He was getting kills, but eventually you have to stop. There is definitely a limit where you draw a line and you don't want to cross that line, but this was one place. But we're going to see 2 self-knocks with the grenade launchers, one with the hand cannon and the other with the grenade launcher. So, I mean, yeah, they do shred in good times, but these definitely give you a lot of bad times as well.
Yep, they do give you a lot of bad times as well, but you talk about Mehdi, he took so much damage over there. But then again, he still tried to keep the hope alive, which he actually did. And this entire fight with the ECL, I think the reason why they could stay alive was because of their positioning, and Mask Boys, even though they had the high ground, they just lost out the fight.
Yeah, this was one place with Team GB2L. They were ambushed. They were on their way for their rotation, and I always talk about the mid-rotation fights, the fights where you get intercepted no matter what. Even if you don't really want to take the fight, you eventually will have to do it. But Team GB2L, they're definitely not ready for what came across their face. I mean, Sparking was there with his double vectors. He was just shredding them all by his own free will. But Tonmoy, I mean, Team Electro, this was one good fight that we got to see from Team Electro. I mean, I'm not sure if you observed the pattern, Mamba, but teams from Group A, especially Infinity and Electro, they've been performing really, really consistently. Their top 5 finishes are almost certain in every other game that they play, and that is the reason why they have actually built up such a huge lead up top. Their gunfights are pretty good as well. Just have a look how Team Electro, they just wipe out one team after the other. This was one place where they completely wiped out Team B26. Eventually, it was Doobie who got the grenade launcher and took down 2 of his own players, but I guess this was the place. This was the place. They will actually rush in with the double vector, but eventually, Nobi with the grenade launcher, he will just blow themselves into pieces and shreds.
Yep, and if you didn't realize, they actually had 2 players, nade themselves and get eliminated because of that reason. So I guess that's a first, because we never really had 2 players do the same to themselves in the same match on the same map itself. So that was quite funny. But then again, coming down to Team Rage and their performance, Amin tried to keep the hopes alive. He tried to get a knock. He did get a knock. Managed to finish a player as well, but just couldn't stay alive long enough for his team to walk away with the booyah. So, well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But the top 2 finish is actually not that bad if you factor in the consistency that team has had. So if they can manage to be in the top 2, top 3, or even, as a matter of fact, top 5 this day throughout, I think chances are they might end up in the top of the table in respect, or with respect to the other teams that they're playing against in their group. So it doesn't really matter if you get a booyah or not. We've seen that example from a lot of teams, and we could see the same thing happening today as well for this team.
Yeah, I mean, top top 2 with 3 kills. That's not bad. That's not bad, absolutely. You get 12 points. And I kind of have a logic, or I kind of have a theory that if you get around 10 points every game when you're playing a tournament, you're pretty in a position where you will get yourself a direct entry to the grand finals. Doesn't really matter if the format is the play-ins format, or doesn't really matter if you get a direct entry to the finals. Doesn't really matter. If you get 10 points from every game, you stay consistent throughout, you will eventually go to the grand finals. That is an abstract number that I have picked up for myself for my own convenience. But nonetheless, we have Purgatory up next, Mamba. We have seen this map evolve completely. It was pretty passive initially, but now it is kind of the Wild West. Anything can happen, and you can't just plan out things in Purgatory. I mean, you can play the other maps from your drawing board. You can play the other maps from with your knowledge and with your research, but this is one map where you can't just predict things. It is absolutely terrible to predict things in Purgatory, especially the circles, the rotations, the drops. This is, as I say, the Wild West.
Yeah, but it indeed is the wild, wild west, and I guess that's how it should be as well. Because see, Purgatory, once again, it's one of those maps which I believe as well, where logic does not prevail. But then you need a curveball, because otherwise, if there's no curveball, if everything happens to the expectations, according to the expectations, you get bored. At least I would. So I like the fact that there is definitely a curveball in the map pool, and that is Purgatory.
Team Infinity, though, this is definitely a curveball for them, because they didn't really expect Team GB2L to drop in their location and take one of them down so early. Noban is one important player in this team, to be honest, and him being taken down so early in the game, this can really hurt Team Infinity, especially if they actually survive this fight. But nonetheless, Santo, he's going to destroy Cruz with his sniper skills and is going to shred him apart absolutely. He is pieces of meat right now, and Santo is cherishing on the flavor of that meat. Nonetheless, Team Infinity, they have seek revenge. Team GB2L, I wonder if they will press the kill switch right now, because both these two teams, they've had one-to-one trades and they don't really want to push forward, but Santo is still connecting shots. He has a Vector to work with as well as a K9. So he has the best of both worlds, Bambike, and I feel that. And if this guy clicks, I mean, if he goes in for the kills, I'm pretty sure he will manage to get himself kills.
Yep, he will manage to get himself kills, that is for sure. But look at Kingsman, he doesn't want to stop. He wants to take that gun and slap Sky across his face. But then you've seen what Sky is capable of. Well, self-humiliating, I guess, because the nade is going to go in, will not do a lot of damage, and I'm sure this guy wants to run away from all the kinds of nade possible, especially the ones in his own inventory, because he got knocked out by his own nade the last game, so he's going to try and avoid that this time around. Santo, on the other hand, though, he doesn't want to stop. He's going to pull out his dual vectors and go all in gung-zo, but he's actually going to get knocked down. That was unfortunate.
That is new for me, because I've never really seen the double vector lose to an MP5, but nonetheless, Siamba was still out there. But if he has to survive, he needs to pull off a miracle at this point. We talked about it earlier. One player for team number 4 is definitely down on his knees, but if Team GB2L, they don't really want to get Alpha taken down, but eventually it is Siamba who will get the kill for himself. I guess the player actually bleed to death, but Siamba, he knows for a fact that Fleps is up close and personal. He needs to take this fight very early on, but the double vector on Fleps, it can be very, very threatening. Siamba, I wonder what he's going to try to do, because if Team GB2L, they're going to tag team together, it's going to be very bad. But Team Riot coming from behind, this is bad news for Team GB2L. Skylib is being shot at, and eventually, I guess he will get taken down, but Siamba is up there in front of him, and he's going to get the kill for himself. This is so unfortunate for GB2L. Team Riot, they completely spoil all their plans. I'm definitely sure the Team Riot, they're the party poopers in their region.
Well, if they're the party poopers or not, I'm not sure, but they definitely know how to fight. Unfortunately, last time they got eliminated a little early, but we saw them how they slaughtered the opposition. They can butcher away at teams, and they can go on and on and on and on and do it all day, every day, 24/7. So it's just a matter of time where they survive through the first 3 circles, and we see them land a 15-20 kill booyah.
Absolutely. I guess we have seen them do that in the past. Right now, Team Rage, though, the team who came second in the last game, we expected them to be consistent, but they do the exact opposite. You're taken down in 11th position, but nonetheless, Team Electro is a very hard nut to crack. We talked about it, Mamba. I mean, I love this team, especially Team Electro and Team Infinity from Group A. Both these teams are so consistent. It's like the twin brothers of Free Fire who just play really, really well. But I really would want to see these teams go up against the teams of the likes of Team Riot, as well as the other good teams that have really performed and performed to that particular caliber. Like, we know for a fact that the points table in the groups, it's not actually competing against different teams from different groups. So I don't really think the Team Electro or Team Infinity have been tested against Team Riot. But eventually, when these teams meet in the grand finals, I really want to see where do they come out. Because we know for a fact that these teams are consistent. Yes, definitely, they do have skills in terms of their gunpowder. But when it comes to the raw dominance of some of the teams that are there in Group B, I still have some doubts. And I really want those doubts to be cleared.
Well, I'm not quite sure about that either, to be honest. But look at the zone. It's definitely going to be towards a larger landmass this time around, for sure. Because I remember getting it wrong the last time we cast together. And hopefully it'll be towards Brasilia. I'm not quite sure. My gut feeling says it might not be Brasilia, but otherwise, I feel that the next zone will be towards Brasilia, and it'll end up somewhere over fields. But you never know. You never know what can happen in this game. It can actually end up somewhere between Marble Works and Brasilia as well, where you see those small platforms protruding on the river. But apart from that, teams are rotating quite slow, though. Look at them. There's only 3 teams in the zone right now. Actually, no, 4 or 5 now. But the zone is that big. You have Electro, we have Infinity Riot, we do have Swag, and one of the players from Mask outside the zone. So, all in all, just a fairly slow game turning out right now.
Yeah, I mean, Purgatory is probably can be divided in 3 different phases, where you have the aggressive early phase, and then you have like the passive middle phase where all the teams start rotating. Because we have an aggressive early phase, we kind of tend to wipe out some of the teams in the very early stage of the game. And what that leads to is the fact that some of the teams or some parts of the map, it kind of gets a bit empty. The density of teams is much lower and teams do have an easier time rotating. But look at that though, Team Eclipse, they have no idea what is happening. Team Electro was definitely there for a very long time, but Team ECL have no idea about it. One player gets taken down, but Mehdi, just look at his position. He's up very close against TMZ, and it can be very, very threatening. We know how TMZ is really good with his SMGs. He has a double vector to work with, but eventually it's going to be Mehdi who comes out on top. But Sabit and Saf, the last 2 players of Team Electro, they have 5 kills. I don't really want this team to get taken down, but eventually the numbers game might actually play in their favor. Team ECL, I guess they still have 2 or 3 players still up on their feet. I guess they have 3 players up on their feet, so definitely they have the numbers advantage. Do they turn it out? Do they make advantage of it? Do they make use of it? We'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out, but Mehdi is going to get knocked down. But look at Seth as well. He doesn't want to stop. He wants to go on and take that fight and make sure he gets a kill that it deserves. But the nade is going to go around the corner. Chrono Shield coming in, which is not going to take any damage from the nade. But Seth, again, just waiting out behind the wall, and the healing gun coming into the play. And I believe the healing gun is something that is so underused and underrated that it's just funny. I've seen teams actually use a healing gun to get the players out of the zone, which otherwise would have been stuck inside.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I mean, that is one way to do things, but Sabit comes in from behind. This is a very good envelope coming in from Team Electro. This is Sabit who has been trapped in a glue wall. That is literally a maze of glue walls, but eventually he manages to take another one of those players down. Team Eclipse, they could completely wipe down Sabit with 4 kills all by himself. This guy is a monster. The way he stuck the player with the glue walls, I thought that it was for cover, but eventually it became like it kind of became like a Salty Mamba situation where both of them were stuck in a room and the lock and the key was lost. Sabit came out on top.
Well, that is definitely not a situation I would want to be in. But talking about the current standings, we have Team Swag on top with 20 points. Below them, we have Rage. But, here's a funny thing. Riot only got those 4 frags, and they got eliminated at position number 9 last game. So it wasn't even in position 9. It's actually much before that. But the only reason why they're at 9 is because of the kills. But all in all, I think it's an okay scoreboard. Not a lot of difference. Only massive differences between the first team and the second team. That is Swag and Rage. But if Swag can manage to stay alive, I think they'll be okay. They'll be okay because we saw Team Rage when I talked about them the last time. They didn't have any kills or playing slow, but they are still in the top 2, top 3 of the current standings. So I guess if that works out for them, why wouldn't it work out for Team Swag?
Yep. I'm not quite sure about Team Swag as well as Rage are probably from the same group, so that fight can actually be pretty important. Especially if Team Rage really wants to get those 20 points out of the league day. I guess they will have to go for the kills because otherwise Team Swag might just roll out of the competition. They still have all their floor 4 players alive. And if you remember Mamba properly, Team Rage, they're actually taken down Swag's gunshot though. This is the player who came out on top in the last game. 3 kills for him. MVP very deservedly so. And I feel that the best of him is yet to come. Team Swag, they do have good times in the entire tournament, but their utter domination is yet to be seen. And I kind of feel like that is coming. Like Team Swag, they've been on an upward graph. I felt like their performance have been improving since the first day onwards. And this is just going upwards. And I don't really think they're gonna stop that trend. Eventually, when they go to the finals, I guess they will be one of those teams who we should watch out for.
Yep, absolutely. They should definitely be one of the teams that we watch out for. And any team, as a matter of fact, which qualifies to the finals directly are going to be the teams that everyone has their attention on because they were the ones who proved themselves. But then again, if you talk about the bottom 6 teams in the grand finals, which would come in through the plains, they are real fighters too. Because imagine the pressure. You've not qualified. You need to qualify, otherwise you're out of the tournament. That's just added pressure. And especially given the fact that how emotional the entire region is for Free Fire and the players that they look up to. That's once again a completely different type of pressure. And still, we've not done LAN events yet. But imagine the first LAN event happening and crowds just chanting the names of the players, just cheering them up and making sure that they have a good time. That is something completely different because even though the players will have noise cancelling headphones and whatnot, they can still feel the vibrations. And look at that, the fireman, he ran away pretty quickly.
Yeah, he had to run away. He had to run away pretty quickly. But Anav, he gets taken down. The grenade launcher comes into play from a cave. I'm not quite sure from where the shot comes from, but Maroof gets one player down, returning the favor. Fireman gets taken down. Eventually, Team Cyanide, they're actually pinned down in one room. This can be very, very deadly if Team Riot manages to rush in. They can completely wipe out the entirety of Team Cyanide. Eventually, Shuvo is going to go in and revive Anav because he is one important player in the team, but Team Cyanide, they're actually rushing in. They have 3 players still remaining. And Team Riot, they will try and get good places inside the compound itself. This can be a very elaborate fight, Mama, because a 3v4 is definitely not a very disadvantageous situation. Team Cyanide can still work it through. But they're still not in the compound, though. They're just waiting it out, playing the patient game, waiting for Team Riot to make a move. They're outside the compound, trying to line up those grenades, not really receiving a single knock for themselves, I guess. If they get a 1 knock, that will be the signal for them to rush in. They really want to get that opening, but eventually Alvi would want to go down. He tries to inflict some damage, but takes some himself as well. Team Cyanide, though, the bullets are definitely coming in. Sparta takes on Maroof, and this is where the things turn. Alvi returning the favor, trading out Spartan, but the glue walls come in, shutting down Team Cyanide as well as confirming the kill for themselves. The revive will come in, Mamba. This is a very good strategy coming in from Team Riot. The kill is confirmed. Akib gets taken down, and Team Cyanide, they're certainly on the back foot right now. I didn't really expect the recovery to come in so quickly, but Maroof is going to nail the final nail in the coffin. And Team Cyanide, they will get taken down completely. This is exactly the ruthlessness of Team Riot that we are talking about, the thirst for blood. And I guess they will get more because Team Electro is pretty close and Team Riot knows that exactly. I mean, this is the difference between Team Riot and the other teams, where they're aware of their presence, where they're aware of their surroundings if other teams are approaching them. But we've seen teams, they just walk into the others, and they just walk into the opposition without any sort of reactions. And that is something which I guess is a very important skill in Free Fire. If you want to have to survive in a battle royale, you will have to be aware of your surroundings.
Yep. If you want to survive in a battle royale, you definitely need to be aware of your surroundings, because otherwise you will not stay alive for very long. Because the amount of fights that are going on, even with this fight which is going on, Maroof is going to go in, finds a knock for himself, actually managed to get a kill for himself, and Riot just going in. They don't care. But the need. Oh, is that it? Oh, that was good clue. That was definitely.
Did you see that, Mamba?
Yep, that was.
Did you see that?
That was incredible.
Oh my! I mean, the grenade was coming in. He knew for a fact that the grenade is coming in. The grenade was well cooked. He just deployed the glue wall to block out the grenade. That was so cool. But eventually, Team Riot, they still have all their players alive. They are outside the circle though, but they have team number 8 and team number 10 approaching them. Team Infinity get taken down. Team LMC is the one who actually wiped out Team Riot in the last game. So this is some sort of rivalry that's being brewed up. I'm not quite sure how many players are there for Team LMC though, because Extreme is the only one that I can see on the minimap. But Team Riot, they will have to push forward, and they will find two teams. Team 8, Team 10, of course. But team number 10, that's Team Swag, they will be gatekeeping Team Riot, and they can make their life very, very difficult.
Do you remember when I mentioned the zone that it could actually end up over here around the platforms which were protruding over the river? And that is exactly where the zone ended up going. So, well, I guess sometimes the zones can repeat themselves. Tamim in the meantime trying to take a couple of shots, breaking the blue wall as well. But then again, Sorry is not going to let Shuo walk away. And Shuo is a very notorious player. If you let him be alive, he's definitely going to run around, going ham, getting kills for his team. But Riot, they are not going to back down. They've never been a team to back down. They have Maroof who's surviving. Enough in the meantime is going to get knocked down. So Maroof might actually try and keep him alive with the healing gut. But let's see what actually happens. Sorry might want to push in, but he doesn't have a lot of leeway to work with. So he's just going to try and stay alive for as long as it's possible. Look at that. Was so... Oh my goodness, that was actually so smart. Sorry is when you... Oh my goodness. That was literally the smartest play. The smartest play that I saw the entire day today in two of these games.
I'm startled, Mama, but look at the circle though. It's absolutely deadly. No one is inside the circle. Everyone is perched up in one place or the other. Team XP, they haven't been that aggressive since right from the start of the game, and now they are being hunted down. Team Swag, I guess only one player survives, but B26, they charge in. I guess B26 don't really have a reason to worry because they have all their players alive. Team Swag, their god will eventually get revived. Sorry as well as Gunshot are still alive. Sorry with 4 kills. This man has been ruthless, and we know that for a fact. Team XP also trying to survive. Arthur is the one who is still surviving behind the glue wall, but eventually will fall. I guess he was taken down, but nobody gets taken down. That was one shot coming in from Gunshot, but Bladers, I mean, the B26 are being hunted down, Mamba. I didn't really expect this to happen because Team Swag, they didn't really have the numbers advantage to work with, but eventually, this is Bladers. Oh my god, that sniper shot was sick, to be honest. It completely wiped down Team Swag, and this now comes down to Mask Boys and Team B26. 4 players are out there. I guess 3 players are out there. It's a 1v2 situation, of course. Gibbon does have the benefit of the circle, though, but he does have the mercy of cover as well. The time turner pops out, but B26, they have to climb down the cliff, and this can be a very precarious position to be in. Bladers might just be very hurt in trying to rotate in the process, but eventually it's going to be Light Out who is going to one-shot Gibbon out of the game. Team B26, how good did they come into this match? I mean, they were really good, especially when they approached the fight against Team Swag. Bladers, do you remember the shot? I mean, that was...
I do. That was sick, and the way even the last shot was so quick, so swift, so clean. The light out, it's hard to imagine that this was the same person that in the last game naded himself, and this time around goes on to secure the booyah for his team. So times can change, Salty. I do have a lot of hope for you.
Yeah. Oh wait, what?
The jokes apart. Let's hop back into the game and see what actually happened. So we're gonna have a look at the replays first, and then talk it out because it was very intriguing the entire match. If you talk about Santo, right, that initial knock was so good, and then he had he did have the SMG to finish the kill with, but he used it over here, trying to make sure that he had the upper hand, but the dual vectors at the same time did not work out because Flips won the fight with a single MP5, and I do miss it in the Clash Squad mode, to be honest, but there's nothing we can do about that. So players is learning how to use these weapons, but all in all, there was a fast start, sure, but the mid game, the second zone was extremely slow.
It was extremely slow, to be honest, because we wiped down almost 14 players in the first 8 minutes. that is the reason why we got to see such a slow mid game. But then this fight was actually pretty cool because Team Electro, especially Sabith, I mean, I loved the way he knocked one player. He knocked Mary out. The other player was rushing in. He gets a glue wall deployed and he blocks himself out. He completely takes down Romjan and he finishes off the kill. There was no way Romjan could have done anything about that, but Team Riot, the grenade was certainly good. That was a good start from Team Cyanide, a cape though. But eventually when Team Riot, they captured this compound for themselves. Team Cyanide, they were as good as dead because you know for a fact when Riot are given some sort of advantage in terms of positioning, they will not mess up their fight no matter what. Shovo, Maruf, they're all gonna come down. One player was taken down, but eventually the trade did come in from Alvi, and he also managed to block out the entrance with a glue wall. So imagine the kind of IQ these players have. They're not just good in their game, but they're not just good in terms of killing, but also they have that constant thinking ability, which we really want. I mean, a lot of players, they do tend to get a little bit, you know, I don't know what you call it, but they kind of get taken out with the constant aggression that follows in this particular game. But being able to think every time, being able to think every moment of the game is really, really important to players. Oh my god, the shot. What will I say? All I can say is rest in peace.
Yep, the only thing you can say is rest in peace, my man, because the shot taken was so clean. Lionel just did a very good job with that, and Jibon, you know, he's going to feel the taste of lead for the next 1 week because that shot was spicy.
I mean, that was quick, especially like scoping in and aiming at the same time. That requires some sort of kill. And I don't have it, but I do enjoy watching the players do it, to be honest. But eventually, Purgatory was something which I really, really enjoyed. I mean, I kind of expected it to be not that tactical, but Team Swag, they really made it count. Especially, they held their position. They gatekeep Team Riot out. We mentioned how Team Riot will have a tough time entering the circle because Swag is going to gatekeep them. Eventually, they did that. The positional advantage was there. Unlike the other games that we see in Purgatory, where you don't really have some sort of positional advantage. All you really have to do is go in and kill. But here, we got to see a lot of tactical plays, especially Team B26. They didn't really engage in a lot of fights early on, but eventually when it mattered, they pressed the kill switch, they pressed their foot on the gas, and they got the booyah for themselves.
That is true. Well, you got to step on the pedal when it actually matters, and you got to go for the kill, and that is exactly what they did. So, you know, if you do get presented an opportunity, grab it by both hands. While I'm going to go and grab coffee with both of my hands and grab some popcorn as well to get some, you know, mid-match energy. But ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere because it's just been 2 games. We still have 4 more games left. Right now, it's time for a really, really small break. But we will be back with a lot more action and a lot more matches to discuss. So do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
It's me again, Kelly! Huge thanks to all of you for the warm support to Free Fire esports in the past years. I know all of us can't wait to find out what's next for Free Fire esports in 2021. So today, I am very excited to share with you what we've achieved so far and what we are planning for this year. Let's start with our biggest esports event in 2020, the Free Fire Continental Series. By the way, I hope you still remember my terrific performance at the opening ceremony. We broke records with the Asia Series, where 2.5 million of you tuned in to us live. The America Series also had a peak of over 1.7 million live viewers. Meanwhile, the EMEA Series also drew in nearly 300,000 live viewers, creating new viewership records for us in the CIS and Middle East regions. Your support was absolutely amazing! The Free Fire family just keeps growing. You guys rock! The World Series, together with the rest of our tournaments, pushed Free Fire into the top 5 most watched games on YouTube in 2020. Last but not least, we won the Esports Mobile Game of the Year at the Esports Awards 2020. We are humbled by your passion and love for Free Fire esports. This award is yours as much as it is ours. Hayato, it's your turn to talk about the World Series.
Sure. We have continuously expanded our esports outreach throughout the world, and the number of participating regions have grown massively. We started with 9 regions at our very first international tournament, the Free Fire World Cup. Over the past 2 years, our esports community has grown to include India, Russia, the Middle East, and the Pakistan regions. Our plans to grow further do not stop here. And in 2021, we'll be adding Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Philippines as competitive regions.
Yay!
Next, we're proud to present the brand new logo and format for the Free Fire World Series, our largest and most iconic tournament of the year. This year will be bigger than ever before. There will be 2 World Series in 2021. The first World Series will be taking place in Asia during April, while the second World Series will be hosted in November. In addition to these, there will be another international tournament around July. So stay tuned.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Free Fire Bangladesh Championship. My name is Ranjit Mohammed Senior Patel, and alongside me, joining a person who needs no introduction. She is none other than Star Tanya. Tanya, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And yes, thank you for repeating my very personal dialogue, though it's okay. And now I don't need any introduction. I agree to that. So I'm not going to disagree about the statement that you gave. Now I need no introduction. But the introduction that there are few teams who are introducing themselves with very good performances today. I was not expecting any booyah coming from Team Swag, but fortunately they did it. And if we talk about Group A and C, we all know Team Riot doesn't give chance to any other teams to show their best play. So for today, the only team that needs no introduction is Team Swag.
Yep, they absolutely do not need any sort of introduction because the way they've played is so good. But we're going to have a look at the map recap, which is going to give us a better idea of how the teams fared out against each other. So first game, of course, going to Team Swag. Second one, B26 Mystics. And the third one is going to be Kalahari. Now, Kalahari is one of those matches, one of those maps, which is my personal favorite because, the conventions don't really apply over here if you talk about high ground and low ground fights. If you're in the high ground towards the end of the game, the zone is going to push you off. And it's not fun. It's not fun to be falling off in the air and, just being shot at. So you want to try and get in good position. Kalahari really forces you to think about your positioning. And it's just fun to watch. So let's see what really happens in the game number 3 that we have at our hands. That is going to be Kalahari.
Yeah, that is going to be Kalahari. I call it the leaderboard changer, Mamba. The reason is the fights, the situations, the fights, and everything that happens over here definitely change the positioning points, winning points, because the team which you predict that is within the circle is going to take away the kills, is going to be the man of the show. But no, ultimately there's the grave danger that pops in. That is going to be the blue zone or the circle shift. That is the deadliest in Kalahari. So yes, it is your favorite. Certainly I'm scared of the map, and I don't personally feel safe over there because it is not enemies usually that eliminates you. It is most of the times that zone eliminates you quite too often, and it is only in this map, not any other. So yes, it is a little bit of scary map for the players, though we casters definitely enjoy the show. The players getting eliminated without any sort of fight, the players getting eliminated in deciding where the where the zone will get zeroed, or ultimately where the zone will shift. So yes, somewhere it is the scariest map among the 3. So let's head towards this map. I am aware the players are ready as well as we are. Having said that, yes, it is already begun on our screen, and yes, it is the third map for the day. We did see 2 different teams winning away, 2 different booyahs. Let's see if there are any repetitions coming by far.
Yep, and talking about the players struggling and us having fun, I think that's one of the most important distinctions that the viewers have to make. While we have a lot of fun casting these fights, players are struggling to stay alive in the game. But then again, Tanya, we are here to build a storyline, right? And that does require a couple of sacrifices in terms of the players. But what I really like is the intent that Team Riot is playing with. They don't care. They really do not care. The first game, they won the first fight. They went on for the second, got eliminated in position 11. But in the current standings after game 1, they were still on position 9 because they had 4 points from those 4 kills. But then again, that is the kind of confidence you need to have in your own ability. At the end of the day, you don't want to be scared, taking a fight against any team. Look at Riot. They don't want to stop. They just want to go in, and Maroof is going to be waiting around that pillar, and now he's probably going to peek. But look at that. That was so smart. Just making sure he has some information to work with. Enough, taking a lot of damage. He needs to stay alive, but Maroof, in the meantime, he's going to be taking one more fight. Will fall down to Mehdi, and Mehdi is not going to stop. He's going to try and guarantee that 1 extra point for his team. But Maroof, then again, he has fallen down too.
Maruf is down on his knees, and yes, he will be put back upon his feet because we know Maruf is usually the man of the match for their team. Let's see, is it going to be so easy to get him back on his feet? But for now, if we talk about Mehdi, he is definitely trying to spot if he can spot any enemies alongside. And unfortunately, indeed, he is getting attacked. He is losing some of the HP, but he has enough time to heal up. If we talk about Shuo, Tonmai spotted him, he knocked him, and doesn't want to waste any time further. Eliminates him, and in the counter fire, Tonmai is down. So 2 kills coming from Team ECL at the moment, but right now if we say Alvi is going to stick into some sort of trouble with very low HP left. He's trying to race back off this fight, but it is never too easy to show your back and fight off. Maruf definitely got back on his feet for now. Tanmay will be saved as well, but unsafe as Alvi, who is already down on his knees. Let's see the last man standing for the team. How long can he stand? Because he is enough and with very low HP. But something that I would like to talk about Team ECL, they don't let loose. They don't want their players to die out of this. They make it easier for them. Confirm the kills as soon as they knock it off. So for now, ECL has eliminated the whole team, and Kalahari, as always, deadliest map and ugliest as well. Not for Team ECL, but for the opponents.
Those are some harsh words, Tanya. Those are some definitely harsh words. But then again, the reason why I would say that is because of the fights. They can get real fast, and a lot of times you want precision, but there's just absolute butchering of teams in this map, and I guess that is one of the reasons I like it as well. Because then again, you've mentioned very correctly that it is the table turner, and you get to see a lot of fights where the team winning the fight should not be winning. But I do believe that Purgatory is definitely still my top choice for logic not prevailing in a fight. Dude, the map Purgatory, it just does not make sense to me. The kind of outcomes we have, I don't get it. I just genuinely don't get it. Like, if you take Purgatory map outcomes and you compare it with the histogram of all the other maps which have happened in the tournament, you will be surprised. You will definitely be surprised.
Yeah, definitely. Results of Purgatory do astonish me to that level that for sometimes I do get stunned. And talking about Purgatory, Mamba, do you know what I call Purgatory? I used to call Purgatory the play of patience. But now it is not the scenario. Everybody is impatient to take the fight. And Bermuda, I used to say, better be patient because rush comes from everywhere. Bermuda is a map of rotations where you can take the advantage from any angle you want to. But for Kalahari, there's a small Hindi word which I would definitely want to use it here. Kalahari ka keher. So I always say the keher is nothing else, but it is the circle shift. So yes, the blue zone eliminates lots of players, but for now, we talk about the current standings. Those are on our screen. It is Team Swag with total of 35 points. They were on rank 1 after the map results of 1, and now they are still in the lead, and it is a good lead within 10, but yes, it is still a good lead. B26 Mystic very close with 28 points and very closely followed by Team Electro.
Yeah, very closely followed by Team Electro. And then again, you talk about lead. Team Swag, though. Team Swag is doing really well for themselves. Compare them to the second team, the lead is not that great. But then again, Team Electro, they've covered up the lead. They're just a point behind B26. But then outside the top 3, there's a 10-point difference, which is big. It's a big leap from the 4th position to the 3rd position, and this is only going to increase if Electro keeps on playing the way they have been. So let's see what happens. But B26, they've had a decent start this time around. They have a kill, and it's only been 5 minutes into the match. We still have literally 6 more zones to play with. So B26, for now, they're in a good position, a good start as well. All they got to do is be patient.
Yeah, definitely. They have to be patient, and it is light out coming from B26, being the player of the previous match with total of 4 kills. Yes, 4 kills is not too easy if Purgatory is the map, because the reason is so many players sticking to one small circle of Brasilia, which is usually the final circle. But these days, there's a meta change there as well. I'm noticing all 3 islands getting into the final circle, and yes, you do have Riverbank. So water routes are also involved, but with that, it is very difficult to get those amount of kills. And this player has definitely managed to get it. Is light out once again. So yes, let's see. He performed very well in the previous matches. Kalahari going to allow him for being once again the man of the match, because for now they have managed to take 1 kill. 2 players are already down on their knees. Bilal and Nibir. Jibon definitely trying to get some revenge, getting 1 knockdown for himself. And yes, he's going again with the second knock. ECL down, 2 players down. So it is just equal. 2 players players being traded on both the sides, but it is Jabon who wants to rush it out, confirm the knocks that he has taken. Is he going to be successful though? And yes, he reaches there, nobody to save them, confirms one, followed by another.
Yep, and then again, Nibir is he still has a lot of HP to work with, but Bilal is going to fall, and is Nibir going to be touched over there? Is he going to be revived? Is the question. He doesn't have a lot of time to survive. He's going to fall. Adion is going to get knocked out. I mean, look at Jibon. He is finally going to finish that play, and double sniper is just working out so well. He can keep on switching those weapons, take pot shots, and just chew through glue walls, and that's not a lot of fun when you're on the receiving end. But for Jibon, I think he's having a field day just taking those shots, and it's a different feeling when you can fire those sniper shots as quickly as Jibon is, and actually connect those shots as well, because 2 shots and the player that you're shooting at is down, and that's literally a time to kill of what, 0.5 seconds.
And he is very consistent with that. He is making sure that once he knocks, he confirms the kill, because now he's also aware it is a 1v1 situation. 3 players eliminated both the sides. So for now, yes, the player has healed themselves up. It is a mid-range fight. So yes, Sniper is definitely going to help him out. Jibon still wanting to wait, because once again, we all are seeing on the screen that zone is closing in. He needs to make sure enters the circle. But yes, you need to make sure that there's nobody to backstab. So he's going to eliminate. But before that, over here, if we talk about Team Rage, one of the player already down. Superman is also down. Now it is all up to TR Amin and Shabir. Have not taken any kills, and the opponents would not let it go easy. It is Team Cyanide, and if I'm not mistaken, Team Cyanide is within top 2 of their particular group. No, they are not. They are in top 4 though. Yes, this could be the table turner. As I always said, Kalahari, the table turner. They can play, they can win this match, and yes, get the upshift for the final day.
That is true indeed, but then again, we have, oh my goodness, I don't know how the players for Team Rage are going to stay alive over there, because he's sitting on a ridge and the danger zone is right above him, so it's going to be very difficult for him to stay alive. He needs to find shelter as soon as possible. We talk about TXP, they have the entire squad, the entire roster alive. We talk about Baby Girl, Ali, Arthur, or Hamim. Now, Tani, I want to ask you this question. Which of the 4 players for TXP stands out for you?
Hamim always catch my eyes, because I've seen him taking the first. He is the rusher for their team. Indeed, a best assaulter, because he's the one who indeed rushes in and tries to get as many knocks as possible. But if I had to question you, which was your favorite? No, we cannot say favorite, but which is the player that you're keeping eye upon?
I think for me, Hamim would definitely be the choice for the exact same reason that you've mentioned. But then again, I just wanted to see if we both end up on the same player, which we actually did. So I guess the casters' brains work in the same way. But at the same time, I think we have these choices because we get so much information about the players. We get to see their stats, we get to see the way they play, we get to see how the other teams are playing and approaching the fight or that specific map, whichever we're casting. And the players don't get to see that. So it might look very easy on our screen or when we talk about it, but it's actually not that easy when these players play, because they're playing against the best players in the country. And after all, it's Free Fire Bangladesh Championship. It's not a small time tournament. This is literally the most premier tournament of the country, and this is just as good as it gets.
Yes, sir. After confirming the kill, Fleps is down. Skylight, the previous map's highest fragger, man of the match, is definitely going to rush through to revive his teammate. Is he going to be successful? Though, if you talk about the Cruz, using the grappling hook gun and yes, switched back his position, he's going to heal up first because he knows that the opponent team is not going to go very easy on them. It is going to be GB2L, and against them it is Shabir.
Yep, against him it is Shabir, but look at Alpha. He wants to use a sniper. I mean, he only has 2 snipers to work with, but then once again, it requires a lot of confidence to use sniper at that range and be accurate or consistent with it. So I guess props to the player trying to use a sniper over there. But if you talk about Dego just being as daring as he can, sitting on the edge over here and trying to get some information, trying to get a couple of shots in. I'm not quite sure if it is the smartest decision though. Because if there is a sniper trained at him, it only requires 1 headshot and he's going to be down. He might actually fall down as well. You never know.
And yes, dying to death is going to be very embarrassing. But though he must be having some other plans. Let's see what are his plans. Because when you're using snipers, you need to cross that edge, which he's already doing, to spot the enemies out. Is he going to be successful though? Because living on the edge includes lots of risk.
Yep, living on the edge requires a lot. It takes a lot of risk as well. But high risk, high reward isn't that what they say, Tanya? Because the more proactive you are in taking fights, you have more chance of getting those kills. But it's at the same time you're exposing yourself to a lot of risk with regards to those fights, because then you're opening up a possibility of where you can be eliminated at a very very early position. You don't want to be in that place because it's not fun. It affects your mentality and it definitely affects the scorecard. But now look at this. If you talk about Infinity, right, they had the high ground. They decided to go in, not because high ground is not beneficial, because if the zone decides to push them off the cliff, then it's just going to be more difficult for them to go down.
And I'm seeing Team Swag is getting down. One of the players is already down, and Cyanide would not stopping. They're not stopped to shooting them. And yes, one of the players is almost eliminated. And if I did not miss, there are already 2 kills in the bags of Cyanide, and it is Tamim on the opposite side of the tower. And it is the fight between the towers, one of the best that we like. But before that, it is going to be Team TXB, all safe and sound, holding the position. They don't need to do anything. I mean, they can have the gala time and let other teams fight out, but they can also bag the advantage if they want to, because the window view was just perfect to get to steal the kills, if not steal, but yes, get the free kills. And I'm very sure of each and every player want those kind of free points. But for now, it is Cyanide rushing their way in within the circle. As always, we know more of the damage is being bagged by the circle instead of the players heading towards the loot crate, heading towards the airdrop, wanting the best resources, because now these teams know it is going to be the final circle real soon. You need to wear the best armors and best helmets to take this kind of fight.
Yep, indeed, you do need a lot of armor to work with, but Akib is going to fall back. I guess he wants to flank in, but those nades are not going to do a lot of damage unless, of course, the glue wall goes away. But Fireman dishing out a lot of damage. That second glue wall coming in, making sure that the damage isn't taken through the glue wall. And I think that was kind of smart, but Spartan, on the other hand, he wants to take that fight. So it's actually, it could potentially be a 3-way fight if Infinity decides to step in and step up, because B26 is definitely taking a beating right now.
Yeah, they are getting beaten. They are indeed getting punished for rushing their way in without taking any rotation. They did have another location to fight out, to flank within, but Spartan would not give that chance, would not spare it. So yes, they have to manage to get a total of 4 kills, and now not even satisfied with 4 kills. The hunger, the thirst is still on for getting more frags possible. Confirm the 6th one for the team. So for this round, I would say Cyanide is being the Cyanide for the opponents, the perfect poison. They would want to spread in the small circle, and they are doing it very wisely. Team Swag lost 1 player, but still standing tall on top of the towers, can bag as much as advantage they want to, because they do have snipers in the team. So this is the role of the snipers, but unfortunately Kalahari wouldn't allow the easy play. The zone takes the shift. They need to make sure they reach within the circle, and height is a disadvantage at this point of time.
Yeah, they gotta make sure. Oh, those are 3 headshots. What? How? I don't even hit 3 headshots in a match. This guy fires 3 bullets and gets 3 headshots. Life's gonna be unfair, Tanya. Life is very unfair.
So I feel you're not the sniper for your team. Indeed, you are a assaulter, so you don't need to get so much of headshots. You can for sure go up close and person, take the rush, which Akib is definitely trying to do. And yes, Spartan with the double vector also did make sure that the opponents get eliminated. GB2L out of the server, out of this match, and Cyanide with a total of 9 kills. The fight is still on. It is going to be Team Infinity tanking a lot of damage. Still 2 players up on their feet. How long can they survive? Santo, who was down, he has been healed up, but it is Swag the meme who is trying to give best of damage possible. And yes, it is Saudi using VSS, eliminating, totally confirming the kills. Tamim counter knock this time. Saudi needs to make sure revive his teammate, but is Zone going to allow them to give the revival to the teammates?
Well, I don't think the zone is going to allow for that luxury, but you look at the zone, it is going to be the last one coming in within the next 20 seconds. We have 3 teams. One of the teams actually on the high ground, which will have to fall back, and you're gonna mark my words, it is actually going to be Infinity who is probably going to walk away with the Booyah, even though they look like they are in a very tough situation.
Yeah, they are initiating with some kills. Using the glue wall, being Kalahari, you don't have much compounds to work with. Santo knocked down, and yes, he's going to be revived now. Zone gets into the 0-0 side, and the Kingsman is also down. Infinity is having hard time. Tamim is up on his feet once again, which is very risky for the opponents at this point in time. Total of 8 kills, and now Tamim is down. It is a difficult situation once again. It is a 1v1. Swag getting eliminated all by the circle, which is the general play coming from from Kalahari, Nobeen with very low HP, then Cyanide with lots of HP, and then ultimately the zone giving more of damage, then the players, and then the weapons. So somehow it was a very good Booyah acquired by Cyanide, and not just a Booyah, they did have 8 to 9 kills, so a good one indeed.
A good one indeed, and that was close. That was really close. And the reason why I chosen Infinity because they were in a position where they could take fights with the players on high ground when they started dropping down. But the unfortunate thing was one of the players actually got knocked down by a sniper, and that is the reason why they lost out on the manpower. And that one moment is what changed all the calculations. And then, of course, Cyanide in a position where they were not being engaged by the people on the high ground, but the only players I had to worry about were from Infinity. But, it's just how the game works. A team drops down from the top, you start fighting them, and one of the players actually eliminating or knocking down a blitz through the glue wall changes the entire calculation. But of course, we're going to have a look at the replays first and try and break down what happened once again to get a better understanding. So Tanya, why don't you walk us through this?
Yeah, sure. It was Team ECL landing to the maze, taking some good fights, and then ultimately, one by one, the players started falling down on their knees. But still, the teammates would not go so easy. They did give the players their teammates revive. It was ECL. Team ECL definitely made sure that if they took a knocker, they want to confirm the points. They want to confirm the kills. That is how Team Riot the team from which we expect the most got eliminated so early on. It was Team Mars, and how can we forget Gibbon's double sniper getting knocked, and then with the continuous shots coming from his snipers, confirmed the second as well, making sure the third one also goes down, and he eliminates that as well through the glue wall, Mamba.
Yep, that is true. Getting a kill through the glue wall is always satisfying, and it's also very scary at the same time, because imagine just being behind cover and then suddenly there's a bullet going through your head and like, bruh. Why? Just why? Why would you want to do that? And that is the reason why you got to stack glue walls when you're fighting against a sniper. But Cyanide's fight over here lasted very long, and imagine they lost the fight over here, instead of walking away with a booyah, they would have been eliminated at position number 8.
Yeah, they would have definitely been eliminated, but for now, Team Cyanide, they did pick fights from early on, but then comes the deadly part of the map, Kalahari, the circle, and how can we not miss this Dare God's perfect 3 headshots, getting connected and now eliminating one of the players. Talking about Cyanide once again, they did go for 8 kills at this point of time, Spartan with the shredding machine. That is what I call double vector, the perfect weapon if you want to take close fight, and he did definitely use it as an advantage for his team. Sorry, went very perfect with his VSS and Reaper bullets, continuing the damage, and it was Kingsman who did try to get the perfect entry over here, but then it was Nobeen who did spot one of the players on the edge of the hill, confirms the kill as well. Then Team Infinity, this was the spot where you said that Team Infinity definitely has the advantage, Tamim losing some of the HP while taking such a long jump, and then it was Sorry who did make sure to rush within the circle, gets eliminated by the zone, and it was Nabeen versus Spartan, with both of them with very low HP remaining, but somehow Spartan did have so a little more HP to work with. That is how they win away this booyah with certain good amount of kills.
Yep, that is true, and this is a game of small margins, hair-thin margins, and the only reason why Cyanide got that booyah was because of the HP that the player had. And a late rotation cost this, trying to revive your teammate. Just imagine if you're being able to heal up a little more, maybe he had an inhaler, or he wasn't in a situation where he had to wait for his teammate. The booyah would have went to Infinity, and that's the beauty of this game. I like it because you never know how the game is going to turn out. It's not over until the fat lady sings, and you gotta wait till the end to try and declare who the winner is, and that keeps me on the edge of my seat. Honestly, not even on the edge of my seat. I was actually jumping around. I was watching the game and I was walking because I was, literally on the edge and I couldn't sit down. But Tanya, I want to ask you, how was this game according to you? Kalahari is not a map that you obviously are not very fond of. So how do you feel about it?
I feel good about this map. All 3 maps are very good. It is just that I am not good at rotations. I am a circle phobic person. I want to enter the circle as early as possible. And as we all are about, Kalahari doesn't have hard compounds to hold on to. But certainly these teams have managed to hide onto some small rocks, some small pillars, broken houses, broken fences, everything that is available. That is how they are surviving. So yes, not being fond of Kalahari, but yes, being fond of these players. And it is such a big tournament. I think this is the biggest tournament by far for the country. So yes, the players are giving the best potential they have in them.
Yep, the players are giving the best they have because once again, it's a massive platform that they've been given over here, and then the opportunity to play in a tournament as big as FFPC and as prestigious. Let me put more emphasis on
Yeah.
the prestige of the tournament. Imagine winning the FFPC. You are going to be the best team in Bangladesh, and nobody can take that away from you. But of course, we're going to have a look at the scoreboard right now and see how the teams fare out. But Swag, once again, being on top with 51 points. That's incredible. That's just incredible.
That is certainly incredible. And look at the difference, which is just within 10 points, and now it has increased to almost 20 points. So Swag has some sort of consistency coming. But if we talk about Team Cyanide, they were on rank 3 after the first leaderboard as well as on the second leaderboard. But this time they have taken an upshift, and it is definitely the Booyah points that they gained in the previous match of Kalahari. So with total of 35 points, they have upshifted on rank 2. B26 Mystics, though, yes, they did take away one Booyah, are not able to maintain the consistency, and they might still, there's half day still remaining for their play. So yes, we still do expect too much coming from them as well. So yes, with total of 32 points, they are on rank 3. So very little, or we can say very marginal, low margin difference, which can easily be acquired with only 3 kills. They might go for a Team Infinity, though. They were on a good position, they survived quite too long, and yes, they also had an upshift, a total of 29 points. So overall, it is Team Swag who doesn't want to leave the title of rank 1 and not winning away the Booyah consistency. But look at the amount of kills, Mamba, 23 kills. It is almost 10 plus compared to Team Cyanide, who are just on rank 2.
Yep, that is true. But then again, at least the top 3 teams have Booyahs. So they've been playing consistently. Imagine a team which is at position number 10 having a Booyah but still being over there, which means, well, they were, one match wonder. And they were not able to perform that well in the matches following that. So you want to be in the top, of course, especially if you've had a Booyah to work with, so that you can show your consistency. And I've always believed that that is the most important thing in this game. It doesn't matter, especially given the format, because we convert these points into league points. So it doesn't matter even if you end up getting 1,000 points in one day. At the end of the day, you're only going to have a 3-point lead from the team which is second, because you only get 20 points, and the second team gets 17 points. So it doesn't matter as long as you're on the top of your group. If you have 5 points or 5,000 points, you're only going to get 20 points. So it does benefit the averages, which means that if you're consistent and you've been playing good, it works out in your favor. But let's hop on to the next map and see what happens over here. So the next map is going to be Bermuda. And this is one map that everyone loves. Nobody really, dislikes this map because it's been around for donkey's years, literally since the game came out. So, it's just interesting to see how the face of the map has been shifted. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember this correctly, or I was telling my story where Bermuda actually was not as green as it is right now. It used to be fairly deserted.
Okay, let's see who goes to the blue zone. Though there are 2 teams already there, which are going to be GB12 Esports, and with them the Mask Boys are sharing the grounds, and the Full Santos are going to one team, which is going to be none other than Team Rage. They are going to get the best of the loots. Such a huge island and only 4 players to get the loot. So yes, they are going to get the best of the resources possible, even though they are not into the blue zone. So yes, a flight path just bisecting through the middle. The spread out is quite too wide. I don't think we can see any land and fight situation brewing up anywhere else but within the blue circle.
Yep. But then again, 2 teams in the blue circle, that's a high loot zone. And imagine both of these teams getting fully kitted out and just fighting against each other in the next 1 minute or so. That's going to be epic to watch, and that is exactly what I want to see. So Jabon, in the meantime, just jumping around. He's going to find one more gun to work with, but doesn't want to pick that up. So he's going to stick to the FAMAS and the shotgun. Doesn't want to go... Sorry, the P90 and the shotgun, and doesn't want to pick up the FAMAS, which I can understand is why he would want to do that, because the P90 high rate of fire, it's an SMG. More bullets as well, as a matter of fact, and not a burst weapon. I have an allergy to burst weapons, honestly.
Even I don't like the tap fires, though. So yes, he has definitely picked the best weapons for himself, 1 SMG and 1 shotgun, because he's very well aware about the situation that he has to take a close fight at this point of time. Nibir with the double barrel, yes, he is definitely trying to flank out, but it is never going to be too easy to flank out and get the knocker, because there are already 2 players waiting for him, and now he decides to take a fallback. Very wise decision. On the other hand, Jibon still trying to get the TPP and try to spot out the enemies alongside alongside it. Is he going to be successful though? At this point of time, if you had to just predict, Mamba, that the situation, four players sticking to each other, whereas if you talk about GB2L esports, the players are a little bit into the scattered pattern. Which team has the better advantage to take kills?
Yep, but then again, Fleps, he's going to get knocked down. He wants to stay alive, and the backup coming in from Skylight. Even though he was one of those players who knocked himself out with a nade in the first game, he has stepped up, definitely stepped up, and he was also the MVP for game number 2, if I'm not mistaken. But Alpha, in the meantime, just pushing out with the shot. He wants to close in on the distance on Bilal, but Bilal just running away as fast as he can. But I get. Oh my goodness! Did you watch that? Did you see that?
What a perfect elimination of the team. And yes, certainly I was answered that if you are into the cluster and not flanking, not getting a little bit into the extended zone, this is how you get eliminated. So yes, certainly without you answering these, it was this team who answered to my queries. You definitely do require to have certain space to take fight this close. And yes, it was a good one indeed. Very early elimination of the opponents. But let's head back towards the peak where two teams are already trying to pick a fight. It is Team Riot who got eliminated very early on. Indeed, they were the first team to get eliminated in Kalahari this time around. I am very sure of they do not want to maintain the consistency of getting eliminated. This time they are just freaking the opponents out, giving some certain shots which are not going to connect. It is just they are trying to prove that we have already contested peak and there's nobody else to share the grounds. And Team Cyanide, fearing them with certain bullet rounds getting fired, they are taking a fall back, or they're trying to get some planned cooking up in their head maybe.
Maybe they do have a plan cooking up in their head, but of course, we're going to have a look at the MVP from the last game. Cyanide Spartan with 3 kills and definitely looks fairly deadly in the game because the way he played is what got his team the booyah. So congratulations to Spartan for becoming the MVP for the last game. And Cyanide, all in all, this played a very good brand of Free Fire.
Yeah, definitely. And they are also taking some upshift with the every consistent performance. Like this time they did take more than 8 kills. This time around, they're not. I was just having a second thought that this team is trying to get into the location where they don't have to engage into fight, but that was not the scenario. Indeed, they are trying to conquer one of the largest part of the peak area, the biggest house, and certainly they don't want to hold it anymore. They're rushing out and open, which can be proven risky if getting spotted. Let's see if they're going to get spotted or no. At this point of time, all they are holding is mobile network tower, taking the cover, and yes, they are absolutely safe. So this rush that they took was absolutely good. But now it is the entry coming from Team ECL, and once again, what I like about Team Cyanide is they don't engage themselves in the fight when they are not very sure of that they are going to end as a victor.
Yep, but look at the zone though. It is towards center. It's a very conservative zone. There's nothing special about it. Bhima Sakti is literally in the center. So B26, they're going to have a field day with this because they've been dropping at Bhima Sakti since the time I've been following them, and they don't have to rotate. If you talk about INF as well, they don't need to rotate at all. They are towards Bhima Sakti, but I think there might be a contest between B26 and INF if the next zone as well favors Bhima Sakti so much, because I can only imagine a team wanting to go in as early as possible because the zone is just working out for them.
If this strategy works for you, why wouldn't you go repeatedly with the same strategy? Let's see what UAV is going to give damage or going to reveal any of the teammates, and no, it does not. So yes, UAV not exposing or revealing anybody else's position, but yes, I do see one fight brewing up. It is going to be Team Cyanide versus GB2L. We have seen the performances coming from GB2L, which are very good. Yes, uncertainly they are not with the same form, they're not geared up or pumped up like they are usually, but yes, as the day progresses, maybe they go ahead with their same old strategies. That is just run and gun, walk and knock. That is how they play. Passive play is not for these kind of players who are more behind the kills, rather just waiting for the final circle and then ending up picking fights for the final round. Let's see what are their strategies for this round. But LMC split of 50-50, a perfect strategy to play along. Nobody to share the grounds, quite too safe. This is the typical of Bermuda. Be the patient game. I mean, you just need to have be patient for the fight to come up, and then you have to get into the action. And yes, there might be some action cooking up right in front of us. Team Infinity versus LMC.
Well, Team LMC, the way they've played, I mean, it's been okay. Nothing fancy, nothing special. They've been sticking to their basics, and they've just tried to execute the plan. But I think it's been a fairly, not so. I'm failing to find the right word, because you don't want to have a flamboyant match where you just go out all guns blazing like Riot did, and then fail miserably in the second match. But then again, you don't want to play as conservative as some of the other teams that have been playing. So I guess LMC, all in all, they've just had a very average game. Nothing too extreme. Not a very good game. Not a very bad game. They're trying to play to the best of their ability, and it's not really been working out. I would consider it to be a failure. But then again, we have 3 more matches to work with, so let's just hope that it works out for them.
Yeah, let's just hope each and every team gets into more of action. Saving their players is the key for the final circle. If all 4 men are standing, definitely you get that advantage. So maybe their strategy is to save the man as long as possible. But ultimately, it is Zone who is giving them final fate. The players are getting eliminated. But if we talk about Team Infinity, yes, they are showing some sort of consistency. The reason behind that is they are on rank 4 at this point of time. If they are fighting good, this fight can get them in top 3. They have to pick the fight against B26 Mystics, or if there's any other team who can eliminate. But yes, it is Team Electro who has picked up the fight right now, which is against Team LMC. Once again, one of the players is already down, and the word which you would say is just an average play. That is my perspective, maybe. But yes, this is just an average play. These guys do have potential in them. The reason is they have come through the very hard filtered qualifying version, and they do have it in them, but you need to express it with your play. They are unable to express their play indeed.
Yep, they are unable to express their play indeed, but look at those nades just going in, making sure they have some room to work with. But Team TMZ just going in. Is he going to find a knock for himself? Doesn't look like it, because the glue wall was going to get him stuck inside. But he does get a knock. He does get the second one as well. What was Sparking doing over there? He just stood there and didn't even shoot a bullet. Could not do a lot of damage. I'm not sure if he's trying to save bullets or give him a spanking, but well, it's getting the job done.
Okay, he did eliminate the player with the pan. No, okay, you're allowed to do that. So yes, they did eliminate 2 players, spanning 1 man, and he gets out. With that, 2 more players are already down. Superman eliminating Maruf. So somewhere Team Rage is getting out with Rage. They are getting outrages on Bhima Sakti strip, but we do have 3 teams sharing the grounds. Yes, upper ground is hold very quietly strong by team number 3, which is Team Infinity. So they do have the advantage of height. If this location used wisely, they can attack all 3 teams alongside. But are they going to do it? That is the main question. Before that, if we talk about Team Rage, they are purposely wanting to enter the fight. They are picking the fight against B26 Mystic, and it is Shabir who is quite too enthusiastic, who wants to rush it in, which is not advisable at this point of time, and now getting attacked. 2 players already getting lots of damage. One of them is Superman, one of them is Shabir, and now finally deciding to enter the hard cover. They need to heal up, and in the counter fire, Amin gets down.
Amin does go down, but Amin, he's going to fall back and will be res there as well. So that was a very quick revive. But 11 minutes in, 10 teams, 37 players. Godwin is working with the Car9. And Car9 really is one of those snipers that we've not seen in use since a very, very long time. All these players have been using the M82, which is a very good sniper, no doubt. But then once again, Car98 with the biometric used to be the combo. I think it was just 6 months down, 6 months back in the past. So, well, meta changes really, really quickly. And I want to see these players create their own meta where, there's just a lot of domination coming in from one of the teams, because when one team dominates, it forces all the other teams to evolve, get out of their shells, and push themselves more than the other teams have been pushing them.
Yeah, so you do need to evolve as per the situation. So I hope they are also evolving good. And yes, MA2B is definitely the better gun to choose out, but you cannot forget K9, the perfect weapon it used to be. With just 2 shots you had to eliminate, and 2 shots did connect. So the aim precision still stays the same. It is just the gun, the weapon that has changed. The skills are eternal if the player is playing very nicely. So yes, they are doing it very good. They are evolving very good with time, and with every new update, just like double vector was non-existent a few weeks back, and now certainly it is the best weapon to pick the fight for the close range, and each and every player has mastered it. Max 7 recently enrolled, and they're using it as the best mid-range weapon. Shotgun, usually we tend to think that you use shotgun for taking close fight, but then with Max 7 you can also use for the mid-range fight, and there's a mid-range fight picked up by Skylight this time. Could not give much of damage. Indeed, he did get attacked, and now taking a fallback. A total of 4 kills already. They are going for the fallback. One of the players still standing there, which is not advisable at all because zone is closing in. With that, other players are already there. They are also going to spot him out and get him eliminated. Before that, it is Alpha who has spotted one of the player, giving as much damage as possible, but unfortunately he's missing all the shots.
Yep, unfortunately, he's missing all the shots, but Siam is not going to miss that one. He will get a knock for himself. And Siam, wow, I think has been one of the breakout players for the FFBC because we've seen him play, we've seen him perform. But look at Shu over here, just playing the cat and mouse game, using the glue to the best of his advantage. Spartan, is he going to survive that one? Looks like it. He is going to find the kill as well. So Team LMC being taken down at position number 10. Now, I did mention that LMC is not having a great day. This game was actually worse than their past few performances, being eliminated at position 10. It's just unfortunate. It does affect a lot of your mentality and the team morale as well, but Shuo will use that clue wall to make sure that he doesn't take a lot of damage, using the inhaler to try and recover all the HP and get some EP going for himself. So Electro, that was quick, that was so quick. Oh my goodness, TMZ is actually going to find a knock for himself, and that was so cool.
That is too good. Team Electro, they are meant for giving us such surprises. They are giving they are surprising us with every time they are bettering their kills. And once again, there's last man standing from Team Cyanide, who did perform very well. They were the consistent ones, but it is Team Electro who doesn't want their consistency to go ahead with the same speed. And grenades coming in. I think this is the time we are going to say bye bye to Team Cyanide. But before that, Shuo taking out grenades do get connect, but not enough to get that knockdown. Shuo getting counter attack with very low HP to work with, and yes, finally he did eliminate the team, and total of 5 kills. No, the team is still there. Blade is still trying to survive with MP5 in his hand. Grenades cooking in. Safe trying to give as much as damage possible, but look at the cocoon that he has created. This is how the grenades can only do the work, but before that there's a backstab coming in, breaking out the glue wall and then completely kills the opponent. So Team Cyanide is down this time quite early on.
Team Cyanide is down quite early on, but then again, we are still alive. We are still rocking with 8 teams and 29 players on the server. Just 15 minutes, and actually, to be honest, it's just 3 minutes of gameplay left. So it's a lot of players to be eliminated in the next 120 seconds. So actually, not even 120, 180. My math is wrong, Tanya. I'm just terrible at maths. But nonetheless, Kingsman, he's going to take a lot of shots with the SVD, trying to knock down Alpha. But Alpha is going to run as fast as he can with the shield being open so that he can get in. But Kingsman just, furiously tapping his scope. Maybe the, aim guide actually helps him and locks onto the target. But that is not going to happen. Nobin needs to stay alive, but a lot of nades popping in.
Lots of nades popping in on both the direction, though there's one team who is getting badly attacked and players are getting down. The team is none other than GB2L. Now with the revenge, they have knocked down Santo, also eliminated alongside. Nobin using the grenades. Let's see if those are going to get connected. No damage dealt at all. It is Skylight who is down. Now the existence of Team GB2L is at risk without Skylight. We do know that he is the heart of the team. Once again, he is knocked down. Jump and shoot is the strategy coming from Nobin, whereas Kingsman tries to go for the backstab. He eliminates one, but unfortunately gets knocked down. So it is Flex who doesn't want to go easy on them. He's trying to survive as long as possible with very low HP, and jump and shot coming from both the directions. Somehow he manages to get one more player down. Now it is all up to Nobin with very low HP to work with. I don't think it is Flex who's going to survive still, trying to go into the safe area, but it is Zone who might certainly eliminate him.
Yeah, the zone man actually end up eliminating him over there, but GB2L is going to go down. Riot is actually going to fall at position 7. And Team X, we had, 3 teams go out in a span of 10 seconds. And the kill notification actually could not keep up. The game could not keep up with how fast these eliminations were. But that, I like how smartly he avoided that landmine, walked right past it, and then peeked through the window while the landmine actually exploded. But Swag, only alive with 3 players for themselves. Gunshot has been taken down. Swag might just be able to get into the top 3. And even if they get the they do have a nade launcher to work with. Is it going to go in? Is it going to do any damage? I don't think so, but he is going to fall. I'm sorry. Not rotating when he had to. Just being a little too greedy. But look at their God, though, on the other hand. He's still going to survive. He's still going to try and stay alive for as long as he can. But now, staying alive for longer seems a very mighty task. And their God is going to fall down. But Swag, I think the fact that they made it a top 5 is still going to give them a decent amount of points.
Yeah, they are going to be in top 5, so they are going to get good standing points. They did pick some fights early on, so yes, maybe some kill points as well alongside BB. It is team B26 losing 1 player, 3 players trying to fight out. Electro with total of 8 kills, not even a single player lost, but now it is B26 fighting for life, and they could not survive, got eliminated, and it is team TR, team Rage who eliminates. Look at the amount of kills. They are the only players who have got double digits by far, healing themselves up. Amin down, Godwin down, comes to 1 player. Team Electro wouldn't go easy on them, eliminates their existence, and now it is only 1 player standing. Let's see how are they going to go. They are heading for the grenades and successfully eliminating the opponents, bagging the booyah with such a double-digit kill.
That is true, and the way they played was so good because they had most of the players staying alive. They actually had a lot of kills while they got the booyah. And that just gives them a massive push in the current standings. And maybe towards the end, when you actually have a look at the Leadpoint Conversion, this could mean the difference between day and night for them, because you're not being compared to all the teams. You're only being compared to your own respective group. And that's the reason why even the slightest gain in points can actually turn the tides for the team.
Yeah, that is how it is going to work. And for unfortunately for few teams, it is just that there are 3 teams from the same group who are trying to fight for the top 2, top 3, and it is ultimately the top 2 teams who are going to qualify for the final. So right now, what I'm seeing is it is Group A who is getting too much aggressive, and this is the fight that we were talking about. Who gets the advantage, the scattered one or the clustered one? And then I get my answer. It is always the scattered one, because you get to fight from all 4 direction and getting being the first one to eliminate the team. So yes, Team Electro picked up the fight at 9 minutes, surviving until the end without losing a player. That is a very hard work that they went for. They fought at plantation, good rotations, good flanks coming from each and every player. And it is not that one man is trying to steal the show. The kills are shared. Each and every member is participating there.
Each and every member is participating over here, and it's not a one-man show. It can't be a one-man show because this game is far too difficult for that. Unless you're a legend or you're a prodigy, getting those 1v4s, especially in the last circle, it's difficult. It's not impossible because we've seen 2 players do it, and one of them actually happens to be from this Indian team called Total Gaming, if I'm not mistaken, Mafia Bala. 1 versus 4 sniper clutch in the last circle. That was nuts. That was so good. But then again, you don't get to see that every day. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments where you just know the player is feeling it. And imagine just getting a 1v4 with nothing but 2 snipers in the last zone when you're fighting point blank.
Yeah, and I like the play coming from Fleps. It was very impressive. It was a 3v1 situation. He manages to get 1 down, followed by another, and this was the situation. He was into Well and Valley situation where he had to either fight it out at that point of time, or he could have died of without taking a fight with with blue zone. So he did step up. He did try to take fight, but with only 2 or 3 HP to work with, he could not. Swag were totally traumatized at this point. They were not trying to because they took their time and they were punished for it. They had to move ahead as the circle moved in, but they wanted to play the chance, which did not end up in their favor. Indeed, Swag getting eliminated at the 5th position did give them some standing points, and they had only 4 kills. So yes, they might still stand tall. B26 getting eliminated, the grenade exchange, both the way the damage was dealt, but for certainly Team Rage could not take a fight against Team Electro. Team Electro taking 12 kills and still counting, quite too strong. And then it was a final grenade that popped in, and then Double Vector did not have to do much. It was the grenade who ended the play for the opponents.
That is true. The grenade being so useful. And I still remember seeing that grenade fly over the glue wall and doing so much damage to 3 players, not just 1, but actually 3 players being taken down and just being given so much damage. So the utility usage is improving for sure. But once again, if you had the nade launcher, then that game would have been over so much more quickly, because you could just aim at the sky and make sure that it lands right behind them. It does a lot of damage. It's quicker and it doesn't bounce. So if it lands, it explodes. It doesn't bounce. And that's not the same case with the small, that pistol-like nade launcher which you have. It's a portable nade launcher. It doesn't immediately explode. So the teams actually still have some time to react to it, but the nade launcher just does not give you any time whatsoever. And the reason why it's so effective towards the end of the game is because everything is so chaotic, you can't read. It's, there's a massive blur between the communication and what's going on in front of your eyes. And if a nade just rolls in, there's not a lot you can do, Tanya.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the pressure of the play, and they are fighting against the legends. This is the fight of the legends, indeed. So, yes, they are under a lot of pressure. They need some time to decide. But right now, it is the time we say that it is the time for break. We'll just be back. 2 more matches to go for the day.
It's me again, Kelly! Huge thanks to all of you for the warm support to Free Fire esports in the past years. I know all of us can't wait to find out what's next for Free Fire esports in 2021. So today, I am very excited to share with you what we've achieved so far and what we are planning for this year. Let's start with our biggest esports event in 2020, the Free Fire Continental Series. By the way, I hope you still remember my terrific performance at the opening ceremony. We broke records with the Asia Series, where 2.5 million of you tuned in to us live. The America Series also had a peak of over 1.7 million live viewers. Meanwhile, the EMEA Series also drew in nearly 300,000 live viewers, creating new viewership records for us in the CIS and Middle East regions. Your support was absolutely amazing! The Free Fire family just keeps growing. You guys rock! The World Series, together with the rest of our tournaments, pushed Free Fire into the top 5 most watched games on YouTube in 2020. Last but not least, we won the Esports Mobile Game of the Year at the Esports Awards 2020. We are humbled by your passion and love for Free Fire esports. This award is yours as much as it is ours. Hayato, it's your turn to talk about the World Series.
Sure. We have continuously expanded our esports outreach throughout the world, and the number of participating regions have grown massively. We started with 9 regions at our very first international tournament, the Free Fire World Cup. Over the past 2 years, our esports community has grown to include India, Russia, the Middle East, and the Pakistan regions. Our plans to grow further do not stop here. And in 2021, we'll be adding Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Philippines as competitive regions. Next, we're proud to present the brand new logo and format for the Free Fire World Series, our largest and most iconic tournament of the year. This year will be bigger than ever before. There will be 2 World Series in 2021. The first World Series will be taking place in Asia during April, while the second World Series will be hosted in November. In addition to these, there will be another international tournament around July. So stay tuned for the rest of the year.
In 2021, we will continue to work hard and provide more engaging esports events and content. We are excited to see Free Fire esports.
Welcome once again to the viewers. Yes, we did see some performances coming very good from certain teams, and some are performing way below their caliber. So we have 2 more matches to play along. So Salty is going to be the co-caster. As always, the pleasure is all mine, Salty, to cast with you. So we did see a day which had some very good kills. The last, indeed, the Booyah that we saw up there, which was Team Electro winning it out with total of 12 kills. So do you have something to say about them? Because taking a Booyah, it is good. But then taking a Booyah with total of 12 kills and counting, what's your call upon that?
I mean, I know you love Booyahs with a lot of kills, and I'm sure you'll be very happy with Electro.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm happy with Electro as well, because this is a team as well as Team Infinity. Both these 2 teams have been playing so good alongside each other. I can feel like they're so consistent with how they play. It's just good to watch. And even today as well, Team Electro has been pretty consistent in the fights that they've taken. So it doesn't really surprise me that in Bermuda, they come back with a 12-kill Booyah. Definitely going up against the other teams, it would have been a very difficult task. But Team Electro is a team that can actually take that. Purgatory and Kalahari up front, I'm not sure what to expect. We didn't see a pattern, to be honest, Tanya. We didn't see a single team dominate just like the other days. It has been kind of been topsy-turvy, some team winning, the other team winning, and whatnot.
Yeah. Today's day is not for the reputation, not for the consistency. Indeed, there's Team Cyanide who is somehow managing to end up in top three. So yes, I
Mm-hmm.
do expect the takeaway one more booyah because they are trying to save the men until the final circle. But unfortunate, sometimes it is zone who eliminates them. Sometimes it is the position which they hold on to by
Yeah.
delaying the rotation. So somehow Team Cyanide is they are consistent but not able to get the second booyah for the day. So let's hope they are able to attain one into Bermuda. So yes, we are heading towards the fifth match for the day, and it is going to be very strong one because for the while the day is close to ending up, each and every team indeed wants to give the best they have within them. Let's see if this is going to be the scene because Purgatory, usually the playoff patience is now no more the playoff patience. They try to pick up fight very early on. Let's see
Mm.
what the scenario is going to be, Salty.
Yes, Tanya. And also, we have to remember the fact that this is day 7 of the league stage. We only have 2 more days to go, so teams won't really have a lot of chance to proceed to the grand finals directly. Whatever they have to do it now because the time it is definitely less, especially for the teams who are there in the bottom part of the individual groups. I would really love to see some aggressive gameplays for them because they don't really have anything to lose at this particular point. Had it been the play-ins, they would have had to stay alive, go for the placement points as well as the kill points. But at the dead stage of the league phase, all I think is that the teams who haven't really performed, it is time for them to shine. If not shine, then definitely to get some good run of form and get some good kills and get some good mentality going on. But we have an early fight happening in Brasilia, Tanya. Team XP versus team number 6. I'm pretty sure Team XP would really want to come up on top in this particular one because I haven't really seen them take a lot of good fights, but they're up against Team Rage. And this is a very good side, Tanya. So what are your thoughts about it? Like, do you really think that the early fight is necessary? Because Team Rage, I kind of feel like they will eventually rush in looking at their movements.
Yeah, this fight is definitely not necessary, but yes, if you have to fight it out, I don't think both of the teams are going to hesitate. Talking about that, yes, there is no hesitation at all. The fighting shots are so heavy. Ali down, Arthur down. What a strong rush coming from the opponent's baby girl as well. Down at his last man standing. Hamim, how long can he stand is going to be the question. He is definitely going to give the best he has within him. He wants to make sure for the final 2 matches his team does survive. But it is finally we do see some good revive coming from Hamim. Arthur is saved, though no kills confirmed. First one on his back, second alongside. Let's see if he's going to go for the triple kill. And yes, he does rush his in. Third one round down, and they turn the table. They entirely turn the table. 3 players down from the team, and then Hamim rushes in, takes the knocks, eliminates the opponents, and now it is Godwin. He needs to make sure rushes as away as possible, otherwise he won't be spared.
Yeah, I mean, Team Rage, they kind of rushed in. It was a 1v1. Eventually, it's Fireman who takes Godwin down, and Team Rage, they've been completely wiped out of the server. This is a team that I was talking about who is really good in terms of their gunfight, but eventually, this is one team that was supposed to fall. Little did I know about their fate, but certainly Team Cyanide as well as Team XP, they both tag team. Team XP, Team Rage out of the server, but then this guy shoot and he returns the favor, taking down Spartan, and I guess he'll almost confirm the kill for himself. Team LMC though, they won't really come back. I have never really seen this particular team go on the back foot. Certainly, I guess they will try and rush in if they get the opportunity. But talking about Team XP, that was a really good 1v1, and I thought that Godwin could have made it count, but eventually it was I believe it was Ali or Arthur. I'm not really sure. It was Hamim. It was Hamim who was surviving. He got Arthur back up on his feet and he made it a 2v1. Eventually, it was Godwin who had to run out of the compound because he knew that the tides were turned against them. But right now, Team Cyanide, though, they've been caught in a position. They've been caught in 1 or 2 compounds right now. Team number 7, that is Team LMC, they really would want to take this fight. But at this point, I'm not really sure if they're going to rush in because, Tanya, we can see that there is a very big open space in between these 2 compounds. Rushing will not be easy. Eventually, if you try and push forward, you might just get taken down.
Oh yeah, and there's no reason to rush at this point of time. It is just Brasilia where you can hold on to as long as you want to, because we usually see the circle does end up here. Though not quite too recently, we don't see the circle ending here, but still there's no reason to pick up fights somewhere. Team Cyanide stuck in the center. They can attack from above as well as below. Let's see if the opponents are going to do the same, because if you talk about Team XP, all 4 players holding 1 compound, whereas it is a split of 50-50 coming from Team Cyanide. So I always like the split play, and there's nothing that Team Swag can shake off their top one rank from the first match until the fourth one. Yes, fifth one will be counted soon after the match is over. They're still standing tall on rank 1 with a total of 57 points, though Team Electro climbing the way up now with little difference of 4, which is quite too achievable in this map itself. B26 Mystics with 42 points, and Team Infinity, yes, they are also playing quite good, but they do have much more in them. Let's see how are they going to perform for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I mean, Electro, though, look at that. Look at the difference. I mean, a 4-point difference at the top. This is pretty astounding for me. And anything can happen, to be honest. Next 2 games, coming up 4 points more than your opposition, it's not a very difficult task for Team Electro, but they have to stay consistent. Team B26, they've kind of climbed down below. I remember they were quite in the top 2, if I'm not very mistaken. But now they're in the top 3, and the difference is definitely there, like 42 and 57. It is there, but even they can actually come up, Tanya. But something which I would really like to talk about is the circle in Purgatory. I remember when I was casting with Mamba, we got to see a riverbank circle, and I feel that this is the new meta. Initially, we used to see the Brasilia circles, but now on, the circles in the riverbanks, they're just so much more common. But we have a fight brewing up. I guess we'll have to talk about the conversation a bit later. But Saf, he was going up close and personal with his grenade, but Team ECL, they kind of shut him down and push him back. At the moment, I guess all they will try and do is Team Electro will try and fall back. But Team ECL, they don't really have a lot of good positioning. They are kind of stuck between the river as well as the road, and they don't really have a lot of breathing room. I guess eventually, if Team Electro rushes in, it can be very deadly. But Maruf actually returns a favor, takes a Shuvo, and confirms the kill for himself. TMZ will definitely try and take on the flank, but I'm not quite sure if that's going to be a very good decision, because there is no trade potential between Team Electro. Look at the distance between the players, Tanya. TMZ is all by himself, and if he flanks out and if he gets taken down, no one will be able to revive him. TMZ, though, he is the MVP of last game with 5 kills all by himself. This man is definitely capable of taking down an entire army, but at this moment, I guess it is better for Team Electro to fall back.
Yeah, definitely. We did see a beautiful performance coming from them in the previous match, and it is a little bit of misery to see that one of the players is already down within the number will, where they did not even have to pick a fight. So yes, they did make a mistake by taking a close call against the team like it was Team Eclipse TRB. We have not very good. We did not see good performances coming from Eclipse TRB by far, but now certainly the players who are into the teams indeed who are into the bottom 5-4, it is just like for the last 2 matches they go for the early fight to just eliminate the strong teams. Let's see if this is going to be the situation here as well. GB2L has lost 1 player, which is Flex. He was the last man standing for the previous match. It is going to be a very bad blow to this team. Duck Cruz is also down. Skylight trying to heal himself up. It is Alpha, though, who is healing himself up. Skylight also needs those healings, and Duck Cruz is down. Alpha down. Skylight with the double vector, and it is Thompson at this point of time healing himself. Blue Zone taking a close call, and it is a tough time for GB2L, getting eliminated by Swag. And yes, we can never underestimate the play of Swag. They certainly do surprise me someday by getting eliminated early on, but I do get happy. Yeah, I do get happy when they eliminate opponents, because that is quite too typical of Team Swag.
I mean, you mentioned it rightly. I mean, Team Swag is a team. Someday, they're not really in their truest colors and they get taken down early on. But then the other days, they really show their swagger on the gameplay. And especially the way they wipe their opponents, it's just so good to watch. We saw how Team GB2L, they were kind of caught in between. They were in a sandwich position. Team Swag, though, they split themselves up in a 2-1 or 2-2 split, and they completely submerged Team GB2L. They had nowhere to go, and when they pressed on the kill switch, Team GB2L, they had to succumb to the brilliance of Team Swag. But talking about Team Riot, though, this is a team that I have very high expectations from. I was saying that this is one team that can really compete in the international circuit if they actually proceed forward, but we haven't seen a very astounding play from this particular team, especially after day 2. I remember they won 4 back-to-back booyahs. I hope you remember that as well, Tanya.
Yeah, we did see, and this is the only team who did go for that. But today is not their day, Salty. I have not seen the performances coming from this team because we know if it is Maruv and Chuo both rushing in, they are the best rushers indeed from the team. If they both decide to rush and take a close fight, they can eliminate the opponents. But today is not their best day. Maybe I don't know why, but they do have it within them. This is the only team who can conquer the whole day. So yes, today
Yeah.
they are not able to outshine the way they can usually.
Absolutely, but that's not wrong. I guess you do have your days, and you don't. You do have your off days as well. Nonetheless, I kind of feel, Tanya, like the teams who are at the bottom of the table, especially in their own groups, they don't really have nothing to lose because there's no elimination funda over here. Because see, the teams who are not really qualifying for the grand finals directly, they still have another chance in the play-ins. And if you're really way down the top two in your group, especially in terms of the points table, all you want to do is just try and stay put and go aggressive. But Team Riot, though, they have taken down one player from Team B26. Shots is already out of the server, and another player was down on his knees, but he eventually will be revived. So Team Riot, they do have a numbers advantage to play with already. But Team Mask Boys, they come in from behind. Bilal is the one who will take down Nobi from B26, and they are in a very, very precarious position. Truvo, though, still trying to use the DMR to his advantage, trying to dish out a little bit of damage against Lightout as well as Nubi. But look at Alvi, though. There are so many teams in the region, Tanya. We have Team Mask Boys who are really approaching them. We still have team number 9 who is out there. That is Team B26. We have two teams coming in from behind. Anav, though, kind of... That was a disaster. That was a disaster of a grenade launcher. We have Team ECL coming in from behind, and this can really turn the tides against Team Riot. If Alvi goes in to revive his teammate, I'm pretty sure he will be as good as dead meat. But eventually he falls back. 3 players from Team Riot, they are still up on their feet. But talking about the surroundings, so we have an absolute brawl going on. Team Mask Boys are going up against Team B26, and eventually Team Mask Boys are the ones who are coming out on top of it. Team Mask Boys, though, they've lost one particular player, but another one from B26 is still out there. Ardion takes down Lightout as well as another player, and that is how Team B26 will fall to their grave. One team has been wiped out, but there is still a lot of action left, Tanya. If you look at the mini-map, so many teams out there. Team Riot, Team Mask Boys, as well as team number 11, I guess? Yeah, I guess it is Team Eclipse. So yeah, we have 3 or 4 teams out there, Tanya. And this can actually turn into a very big war.
How would you like this open field fights, Salty? Because certainly I would never prefer picking up such fights, but I am afraid they have little to no choice but to take the fights because Team ECL have already picked up a fight against Team Cyanide. One of the players was knocked down, used the glue wall, healing him, but 2 players are already down from Team ECL with a total of 4 kills this time. So what's your call upon open field fights?
Open field fights are so important, especially in Purgatory. I guess this is one type of fight you have to be very proficient in, because if you want to take Purgatory and if you want to win games on Purgatory, you have to win open game fights. You have to use the glue walls to your advantage. But over here, we can see the Team Eclipse, the team who actually got the first say in this particular fight. They're kind of falling back. Only one player survives, and all the entirety of Team Cyanide will try and rush them. The grenade comes in. It was rather a flash. It does flash Maruf, and I really wonder if he's going to survive. He's not going to survive by any means. That was murder by Team Cyanide. But the circle closes in, Tanya, and I do wonder if there are any compounds inside the circle, because you mentioned about open circle fights, open region fights, and this is something which we get to see from Purgatory so much. Little do we know that there are no compounds inside the circle. Yes, there are no compounds inside the circle, and this is where all the glue walls, all the time turners will come into play. We'll have to see which team uses that to their best advantage. But talking about positioning, Team Riot Maruf does have one small shack for himself. Alvi and Anaf are also holding a little bit a small position. Team Infinity will have a tough time coming in because they are being gate kept by team number 10. I'm not quite sure if Mask Boys will be able to do that because one player is already down. Novin comes in, the glue wall gets popped out, the shotgun not really displaying its full potential, but eventually Mask Boys, they still have 2 players to work with. The glue wall's being broken apart. Santo will try and pop in a grenade inside. I'm not really sure why isn't it doing that. Okay, so he doesn't have any. Nonetheless, the fight is eventually gonna break out, and Mask Boys, they don't really have any chance of survival. 4 players against 2. I mean, you know the math, right, Tanya? I'm weak in math, but we know it for sure.
Yeah,
Jibon blew himself up.
Yeah, he did. I was shocked to see that. Yeah, what a perfect strategy, Salty. If you don't want to give any kill points and there's no zone to kill you, use a grenade and eliminate yourself, which is not usually seen at such sort of tournaments, because all you want is survive as long as possible. And such
Yeah.
a massive tournament, a player blasting himself up. I don't know. That was not very treat to the eyes indeed, but somehow he did save some kill points for the opponents. And let's see how Team Riots are going to back some, because it is Team Electro Sabith who is just on his crosshair, and he can also give some damage if he wants to, because Chrono Shield will ultimately blast off, wave off in certain seconds.
Yeah. I mean, Team Electro, though, for rotating, it will be a very tough job. I would say that they can actually loop around the circle and enter from a different region. But if they try and directly enter the circle through the shortest route possible, it will be very hard for them, because Team Riot is out there with all their players in. And especially like for a team like Team Riot, if they survive the third and the fourth circle and are inside the final circle, I really don't want to be a team that's going to fight that particular team. But talking about Team Cyanide, though, you mentioned how they are yet to win a second booyah for the day, but they have 7 kills already and they are still 4 men alive. So this can be a chance for them. We don't really have a lot of players inside the fourth circle. Just have a look. 19 players are still alive. Out of them, 4 players are from Team Cyanide. If they get a good position inside the circle, I'm not very doubtful of the fact that Team Cyanide is going to get a booyah this time around.
Let's see if they are going to get a booyah, because they are not competing against any other team. But there's only one team, that is Team Swag, because the positioning points are going to be the deciding factor finally. And they're performing very well indeed. And my hopes are still high, and the stakes are getting higher with every possible match. And yes, I still stick to Team Cyanide for the day. They are performing very good, because all they are doing is being consistent in taking up shift, and some players who gets knocked down. Maroof is also down. Team Riot is struggling bad at this point of time, and he does try to get some revenge. Revenge puts Fireman down. Spartan it is, using double vector, trying to shred apart the enemies. Fireman will get the revive. He is back upon his feet. Team Cyanide with total of 7 kills, still surviving with all 4 men standing. And yes, they won't get afraid to pick any fight, because there are 2 teams who they have to fight against. They can also wait if they want to, but the zone wouldn't allow them the luxury of waiting.
Yeah, I mean, Team Cyanide, they actually waited for Team Riot to get revived, and I'm not really sure why, but Anav did blow himself up to shreds with the grenade launcher himself. Like, I've seen a lot of kills, good kills coming in from the grenade launcher, but recently, more often than not, the grenade launcher has been hurting teammates and yourself more than it being hurting others. But this is Team Cyanide, and they go hot and heavy against Team Riot, and Team Riot has been eliminated completely. A Keep Blade all come together with their shotguns on the face of the players of Team Riot, and they had nowhere to go. Team Cyanide is still 4 men strong, and they have 9 kills in their bag already. This team can actually dominate the final fight. Team Infinity is still out there as well. We have Team Swag, if I'm not really wrong, who is also inside the final circle, but entering the circle will be very, very difficult, because we have a hard shift that completely favors the 2 teams, that is Team Infinity as well as Team Cyanide. Even though Siam Wout, he does have a position to work with. He knows exactly where all the players from Team Cyanide are pinned in, but they do have a lot of angles to cover, because Team Swag, they might come in from behind. Team Infinity will have to be aware of a backstab coming in. Nobin is the player who has been given the charge of dealing with that. The blue zone is certainly not in the favor of Team Swag, and they eventually will get taken down. But Team Cyanide, Fireman is the one, as well as the meme. Both of them, actually, the grenade launch is coming to play. The Cyanide is actually going to rush, and they will probably take down the entirety of Team Infinity, and this can be so bad. This is the 1v1. Team Cyanide has actually been eliminated. Team Infinity, they got a booyah for themselves, and I have no idea how did they manage that. I mean, what on earth happened in the final fight, Tanya? Do you have any clue about it?
Whatsoever, but my wish was not fulfilled. I was left with no booyah coming from Team Cyanide, with who it was the team I was expecting a lot, but certainly this is what the Battle Royale is about. Expect the unexpected, and I like the way Team Infinity attacking Team Swag. Ultimately, I would say that there were 2 teams fighting for the rank. One, it was Swag and Team Cyanide, and it was Team Infinity who eliminates both the team and takes away the kill. So it was a good play coming from Team Infinity. We do know they are fighting very good for the day. They are playing also very good. Not very consistent, but yes, let's head towards the replay for sure. We want to see how Team Infinity started taking the fights, and how can we forget this fight where Team TXB trying to take fight in Brasilia, where there was no need to pick up the fight. Ali getting down, Arthur getting down. Then comes the entry of the hero of the team, which is Hamim, who comes here, revives one of the teammates, starts to confirm the kills, which were one of them was knocked by Arthur, and then reviving a teammate, then confirming one more kill, and then comes last man standing for the team, who races out of this fight to just stand tall for the standing points.
I mean, he eventually was taken down by Team Cyanide. Remember, Fireman was actually the one who took down the final player of Team Rage. But this is another team that I really like, Tanya. Team LMC haven't really been able to perform to the best of their capabilities, but I know for a fact that the fights that they participate in, they always make sure that they win in those particular fights. Team GB2L, though, kind of being a bit passive, trying to hold themselves back. Skylib, not really in the best of positionings. He was eventually taken down. He was not really making a move, and the other team, they just made use of it. But Team Riot, they got a lot of kills for themselves in this match. I guess they were the ones who wiped out Team B26. Loved the way how they positioned themselves, but eventually it was Team Cyanide who actually came in and took down both of these players. And I remember, Tanya, Anaf has actually knocked himself out with a grenade launcher twice in the same game. Once against this fight against Team Mask Boys, and another, I guess, it was in the final fight against Team Cyanide. I remember because I just had a look at the kill feed and I saw that Anaf, alright, he's down again. Like, what's happening with the grenade launcher?
And that was, I don't know, that play is never seen by far. It might be the first one in history. Let's see if there were any fights as such, but I don't know what was going through his mind. And this was the moment where I felt he will pick up a fight, he will survive, but then end up eliminating him completely. Team Cyanide fighting very good for the final circle. Already did take 8 kills. They were fighting against one of the team, which was none other than Team Infinity, who backed away the Booyah eventually. But how Team Infinity being in the center, they did the gatekeeping work on point, and the rest of the work was done by Blue Zone as well. They did not get an easy entry in the zone. So yes, using the snipers, making it difficult for the entry. At this point of time, it was Kingsman was down. I felt Team Cyanide is having more of a strength. Then comes one grenade, 2 players already down. It was not the grenade though, it was the shots, the firing shots. 3 players down and Existence eliminated. Team Infinity with total of 9 kills, taking away a Booyah, and an unexpected one, Salty. I was not expecting. I will be very honest and we will be very truthful. They did take away Booyah, which I was not expecting at all.
I mean, if I try and prepare a timeline, I try to analyze what exactly happened out there. If I try and prepare a timeline, then Team Swag was coming in from outside the circle. All right, they had the blue zone at their backs. They were taking in damage. Team Cyanide, who were inside the circle, they were dealing in a lot of damage. Fireman took both of the players down from Team Swag with the Groza. But before taking them down, I guess it was Team Swag who had already launched a grenade from the grenade launcher. The grenade actually dropped in right inside Team Cyanide's camp. And that grenade actually did a lot of damage. Team Infinity, they just had to walk in and capitalize on that advantage. Eventually, Team Swag was taken down. But after that, Team Infinity, they knew that only one team is there out there, and that's going to be Team Cyanide. With one player knocked down, Team Infinity had so much advantage to work with. I mean, things really working for them. Imagine you eliminating a team, but the team, before going down, they launch a grenade at your path and the grenade drops in. You expect it, out of nowhere it pops out and takes down 1 or 2 of your players, dishes out so much damage that you're at half HP, and the other team just capitalizes on that opportunity. This is so unlucky for Team Cyanide.
But still somewhere I feel Cyanide did show enough to overtake Team Riot, because they got eliminated after them. They had more kills compared to what Team Riot had. So somewhere if this leaderboard pops up on the screen, I'm very sure of it is going to be Team Cyanide on position 1, and finally the position of Team Swag will be shaken off. But at this point of time, there's no team that is going to be shaken off very early on. Spread out is quite too wide. I don't see any early fights, and I like the position of Team Swag, how widely scattered they are fearlessly into Refinery, knowing that there's no other team who is going to join them in for the loot. Being the final match for the day, I was expecting some early fights, but then I'm not going to get them. I'm not going to witness them as of now, but let's hope the final circle will be way more spicier than what the beginning is.
Yeah. If I'm not really wrong, I guess Team Swag is from Group C. And definitely, if Team Swag get a very good day for today, I guess if they get 20 points, 20 league points from the day, I guess it will be very beneficial for them. I believe they were in position 4. I might be wrong in all of my figures, but I believe they were in position 4 of Group C, and the difference in Group C was not really much. I guess it was a 10-point difference between position number 1 and position number 4. So certainly, Team Swag, they have the opportunity to climbing up at the top and qualify for the finals directly. I mean, with 2 more weekdays to go, I don't really think that there is going to be a lot of change in the points table. But if Team Swag, they hold on to this lead that they have built today, they can really make it count. I really wonder if that is going to happen though. But if Team Swag goes to the final, I feel like they really deserve that particular position. But
yeah.
kind of looking at their rotation, kind of looking at the drop though, Tanya, Refinery, they're very spread out. This can be very deadly, to be honest, because there is no trade potential between them. If one player gets taken down, he will be killed almost instantly.
Yeah, they are picking up a risk, and yes, as we all say, if you tend to take risk, you might be benefited even more. So let's hope by the risk they have taken, they achieve some more than that. But is it going to be the position? Because at Refinery, you have hills to share, you have towers to share, and somewhere around height is not always the advantage, because previously it was a myth that if the player is at height, you are at point of advantage. So let's see if they are going to count their landing point or being the center and having the advantage of being in through the center of the circle. They can pick up certain fights which end up in their favor. But Duck Cruz is definitely into not this. It isn't definitely to the wrong situation, and nothing is going to go into his favor. 3 against 1. Indeed, it is 4v1 situation for him. I don't know what made him go to such an overextended level. There's nothing to save him, nothing to revive him, and certainly he did give a good loud call to his teammates, and they are trying to go close to him. And let's see how this fight is going to go ahead, because the positioning of Team Infinity is definitely way better compared to GB2L.
Yeah, I mean, GB2L, they're very spread out at the moment, and the Cruz might just get taken down. If he actually re-peaks that particular angle, Team Infinity know exactly what's happening. But we have flips as well in another shack, and the entirety of Team GB2L is kind of spread out in such a way that there is no trade potential between them. If one player gets taken down, I don't really think that there's going to be any sort of mercy being shown from Team Infinity. I guess the only thing that Team GB2L do is just wait for Team Infinity to fall back. Only then they can actually regroup and form a unit once again. But at the moment, we do have a fight brewing up. The first blood has been drawn by Akib, and the fight is going on again by Team Cyanide. We'll have to see which team is up on the receiving end of it, but at the moment, I guess, Team Infinity, they're not really overextending themselves, especially with the danger zone being on them. I guess they'll just wait it out for a moment, but some shots being fired. Kingsman gets taken down. Surprisingly enough, Alpha is also pretty low on HP. I wonder what he's going to do at the moment. One single grenade can actually take down 2 players from Team GB2L, but it's only for us to find out what's going to happen. Only time is going to tell.
Only time is going to tell us, and the Crew's trying to once again risk. He is the risk taker from his team. He's flanking into the open area without any fear of red zone, without the fear of getting attacked. Kingsman was knocked down. Yes, he needs to heal up to 100% because there's one fight who is coming up, and I see GB2L very charged up. Last match to go for, and as I always say, last match is the match where you can go YOLO, and that is what this team GB2L is doing. 2 players already down coming from Infinity. Siam Wow can be revived at this point of time. Nobeen trying to pick up the fight, and yes, Skylight is the player who needs to be taken down, but unfortunately, no, there's nobody
Wow.
to support this fight. GB2L with a total of 4 kills, losing 1 player, Alpha, but it is a very fair and positive trade, losing 1 player while getting 4 kills on their chart. So a very good fight. The risk of the Cruz definitely paid this team by eliminating one of the opponents very easily.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a popular saying from a web series called Scam 1992, Risk Hai to Isk Hai. I mean, my Hindi, just pardon my Hindi to be honest, but nonetheless, Jibon is down. Mask Boys, they will have to go up against Team Cyanide. We have another team which is pretty close by, and that is Team B26 Mystics. This fight can actually be very, very deadly. 2 players from Team Mask Boys get taken down, 1 by Team B26, 1 by Team Cyanide. 1 kill was actually stolen by one of the players from B26 approaching this fight, but Mask Boys, they've been reduced reduced to a two-man side at the moment, and fighting against an entirety of Team Cyanide will be a very difficult job for them. Especially with Team B26 around, this can be a very, very daunting task. But eventually we'll have to find out what do we have to see up front. Saf? He knocked himself out. He fell to his death. I don't know what's happening with Team Electro, but we have seen a lot of different comical incidents, Tanya, especially Anaf knocking himself twice with a grenade launcher. Gibbon, I guess it was Gibbon who blasted himself to death with the grenade, not giving away the kill, and now this one. Today was a funny day, Tanya, isn't it?
Yeah, that definitely was, but my prediction goes wrong. Team Swag still on rank 1 with a total of 70 points, not shaken at all. Team Infinity, very good play coming from Team Infinity this time around with a total of 62 points. Then comes Team Electro with 60 points, Team Cyanide with 59 points, and then comes B26 Mystics. The best part about B26 Mystics is they are just consistent, not winning the leaderboards, not stumbling down, just on point, but it is not enough to qualify. They need to definitely pump up even more than they can. The reason is you want to qualify. Ultimately, it is a fight between the same groups. Talking about Team Swag, I think the words which you said, Team Swag is going to have a very plus push on the league points today.
Yep, certainly. I guess if they get 20 league points from today's play, it will be very beneficial for them. But I noticed something, Tanya. Position number 2 to position number 4. 62 points, 60 points, and 59 points. Team Infinity, Team Electro, Team Cyanide, all teams from Group A, with competing each other so tightly. This is insane, to be honest, because in a matter of a single game, the entire points table can actually shift. And that just goes to show that how much of your league points are at stake. This match can decide so much. I know for a fact that Infinity and Electro are the two most consistent sides from Group A, of course, and only those two teams are going to proceed to the grand finals directly, because the other teams, they're not even near. But Team Cyanide, they've had a very good performance today, and I'm proud of them, the way they have displayed their skills. But here we have a fight growing up. Team Rage is up against Team Eclipse, and I guess Tonmoy is probably the last lone survivor for his team. All 4 players of Team Rage will try and climb up on him. This is probably going to be a very sad ending. Will he be able to clutch out? Not really. I mean, that was too much to ask from him, especially up against 4 players from Team Rage. It would have been impossible. But coming back to the topic, I guess Infinity and Electro from Group A, they're just so consistent, Tanya. What do you think is working for them? I'm not quite sure how they have been keeping the same level of performance every day, every other day that they come in. I just love their gameplay.
Even I love the gameplay, and it is nothing but the synergy between the players. I like how the players even go within the blue zone just to save their teammate. They don't want to lose a single person from their team, and that is how they are able to maintain that very consistency. And I'm fond of this kind of play where you just don't want to leave your player to death. You want to save them as a treasure. So yes, counting each and every member of your team as a treasure, saving them as long as possible. That is what the key to their consistency is. Talking about Team Cyanide, though, coming from Group A, and you were right, Salty. It is all Group A, and Group A fighting within them, and Group B is going to get an easy qualifier today, and Team Swag is definitely going to get a very good boost by today's play.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned it rightly. Your comrades are more important than your mission. In the world of military, in the world of soldiers, all you really want to do is save your comrades. But we have the MVP of the day, or rather the round 5. That's going to be Nobbin from Team Infinity. With 4 kills, I guess this player really showed up big time for Team Infinity. That really boosted them to the 2nd spot on the leaderboard. But I also love the fact that the Team Infinity, all their players are always contributing. It's not like a single player is carrying them, or a single player is getting all the kills for them, or doing all the heavy lifting. It's always the entirety of the team that is functioning as a unit, and you want that. And I guess, as you mentioned it rightly, that is the secret of their consistency, because if a player might have a bad day, but then you have 3 other players to back you up, and when that is the case, a team will never really fail.
And these teams are not failing. They are winning our hearts. Yes, winning away the tournament. Let's see who is going to do it, because we still do have lots and lots of fight to see. But they are definitely winning away our hearts, viewers' hearts, by the way they are playing. Talking about Team Cyanide, they made a very good consistency coming throughout. I don't know how come, even being on the second position, taking 8 kills, still did not give them positive plus. Indeed, they got a downshift there, but now let's head back towards the fight. Over here, it is going to be Team Swag versus Mask. Bilal definitely trying to race out of the fight, but is he going to be successful though? Because racing into the open, barren desert is such a difficult task to do. We all know Kalahari doesn't anybody safe. May it be red zone, may it be blue zone, or may it be compound. Nobody is safe at all. And see, Bilal is already down, and he is taking the shots coming from Kameen and eliminated.
I mean, I kind of feel sorry for Bilal. He was trying his level best to survive at that point, but eventually it was Team Swag who got the kill. He really tried his best, to be honest, but his teammates had to abandon him because the way Team Swag was positioned, there was no way Team Mask Boys was winning the fight. I guess one last player from Team Mask Boys, they live to fight another day, but eventually it's going to be Ali. I mean, Team XB, the moment I say they live to fight another day, they take down the last player, but eventually Ali gets taken down as well. So Team Swag, they wipe out 2 teams in quick succession. That one is Team Mask Boys, one is Team XP. At the moment, with 5 kills, I guess this particular team is definitely going strong. But as I say that, Akib is going to be the one who will take down one particular player, Team Rachel. They try and focus their attention on Team GB2L. Take down 2 players. At the moment, the Cruz is still out there. He is completely pinned, and 2 players tagging him in this position. I believe that it's going to be a very, very difficult job for him to try and move out of the location. But with 4 hungry players right in front of him in the form of Team Rage, it will be very, very difficult for him. Looking at the circle though, Team Rage, they move inside the circle. Sabir is going to be the one who occupies a central portion of it. And I guess this is a very good spot to play out from. But with the teams coming in from every particular direction, I wonder what this entire circle is going to turn to. I guess it's going to turn into a graveyard or a cemetery of players. We'll have to watch out.
Godwin knocked down, rushing into the open. That is what happens when you try to risk yourself way too much. You don't need to do that. But somehow this Team Riot is easily taking an entry. Team Race is unable to gatekeep them, which were there. They were the first one to come within the circle. They could have done this job way more easier. After losing one player, maybe they have taken a slow call. But at this point of time, if they did manage to stop Team Riot, it would have been an easier battle for them. So now maybe they are going to get backstab. It is Team Rage this time, taking a little too longer and allowing the opponents to take an easy entry. It should have been the other way around. If you hold the center of the circle, you should have the advantage to not allow the other teams to take an easy entry.
Yeah. I mean, I do get your point, but at this point, I guess there are just too many teams to gatekeep, Tanya. I mean, look at Team Rage's position. They're absolutely at the center of the circle, but there are so many teams who are rushing in. I mean, 6 teams as well as 17 players. It's almost like there is an average of 3 players per team, and it is very difficult to gatekeep each and every one of these teams. At the moment, Team Cyanide, though, they will try and rush in. Team B26 are right in front of them. This can be a very, very healthy fight. Akib, though, takes a lot of damage from the blue zone. He gets eventually taken down by the play zone itself. I'm not quite sure if he will be revived. The grenade comes in from Blade. Eventually, will it knock out the 2 players from Team B26? It's going to be very hard to call out for. But the return grenade comes in as well. But Blade will be unhurt. At the moment, Team B26 start approaching. I'm not quite sure where is Spartan. He definitely will try and have to provide some backup fire. But Team Electro, though, they're pressing their fingers on the triggers at the moment. Team Riot on the receiving end of some lead. Definitely, there is a lot of rotation left for Team Electro because they have to push forward and move inside the circle. Eventually, it's going to be Spartan who will get a kill for himself. Eventually, Shuvo will get down Sabir from Team Rage, and eventually Spartan will get taken down. Team Cyanide is going to be the one who will take down Team B26. The fight, the long end to that fight did come to an end, but it is going to be Sabir who will take down Team Cyanide, and only 2 teams remain, Tanya. It is a 3v3 at the moment, and this is going to be Team Electro versus Team Riot. We really wanted Team Riot to really win or get a statement up front, and they do have an opportunity. Team Electro have an opportunity as well. Shuvo gets taken down by Anaf. The grenade comes in and confirms the kill. This has turned into a 3v2 at the moment. Seth as well as Sabir, they will have to fight in tandem with each other. Will they be able to do so? Sabir gets taken down by his own grenade launcher. Eventually, Team Electro will be taken down. Team Riot, after a very hard day for themselves, they find a booyah. And what a way to bring up that booyah.
Definitely, it was a good one. If Electro wouldn't have ended up damaging himself, so today what we are seeing, Salty, it is that grenade launchers are proven way more deadlier for themselves instead of being on enemies. I don't know why today we are getting to see such a day, which is a real unusual one. Because I'm repeating, the players don't tend to do such sort of mistakes. At one
Yeah.
point of time, Salty, where Electro were at the best of position, though the zone was definitely going to choke them up, but they were trying to get the best
Hmm.
of kills possible. Two teams colliding, they were trying to get the advantage out of that. They did manage to get that, but ultimately going for 3v3 situation, getting the first player getting knocked down, it was a 2v3 at that point of time. But at this point of time, let's head back towards Team Infinity getting totally wiped off with that one shot coming from Skylight. It was a beautiful one. He just climbed up on the fence and eliminated their existence thoroughly.
I mean, I didn't really imagine, Tanya. I'm pretty sure you didn't imagine that as well, that Team GB2L is going to come in from that position and take down Team Infinity, who had such a strong hold inside the compound themselves. It was like a dream come true for Team GB2L. I wonder how long did they survive, though. But eventually, that fight is something which goes to show that Team GB2L is capable of a lot more than they have displayed in this particular tournament. Team Swag, though, it was the meme who actually got the kill of Bilal in this particular one. Bilal did try to survive his level best, for the snipers, they kind of tend to find you out of the rabbit hole, and eventually it did find out Bilal from Team Mask Boys. But this was one place where we got to see Team GB2L. They really succumbed. I guess they were grasping for breath, especially when Team Rage got them out in the open. With the blue zone coming in, they were completely choked down and they had nowhere to go. And I mean, Team Rage, they just had to press their fingers on the triggers, and that is exactly what they did. But the fight in the end was pretty intense, Tanya. I loved the fact how Team Cyanide actually came out of this particular position. I guess it was Blade who just survived and got the entirety of Team B26. We'll have to watch this fight thoroughly, though. But I mean, the entirety of the last zone fight was so intense, especially when Team Electro rushed in, and I thought that it was an even fight. I mean, one player from Team Electro, he goes down. I believe it was Anaf. I'm not quite sure though if it was Anaf, but it was Saf. It was Saf who actually got taken down. I mean, look at that. Sabit, he has a grenade launcher to work with. He will try and use it. He gets, I guess, one grenade connected. But after that, it was Anaf who actually got the grenade connected, took down one player. Sabit himself will knock himself down. I mean, there is no excuse for that, right? I mean, if you are up against a team like Team Riot and you make such mistakes, you will get wiped out.
Yeah, they did get wiped out. But anyway, all in all, if I had to conclude, Team Electro, they are performing good this week because
Yeah.
this day, because previous week we did not get to see so much of actions coming from them. So certainly it is a good start of the week. It is a league week 3. So yeah, certainly it is a very good start. If they continue to do so, they might qualify for the finals because now it is the 2 days that are remaining. We are going to get top 6 teams out of each group. So let's see what is the performance holding up for all these teams, not only Electro, because now it is a harsh time. Indeed, not harsh. It is the time of filtration where you have to keep your bad plays behind. You are not getting to get any luxury from here on, because if you do that, then planes are a literal struggle for them.
Absolutely. But we have the map recap coming up, and I guess it'll be interesting for us to find out which are the teams who got the booyahs. We do remember all of them. Swag came up with a very dominating booyah up front in Bermuda, and they never tend to lose that particular lead that they built up in the first game. I mean, every game they were consistent. They did not win the booyah though, but they maintained that position from the first game itself. And we haven't seen a lot of teams do that, Tanya. I mean, we have seen teams get booyah in the first game, but eventually those teams tend to succumb to the pressure that they face from the other teams and tend to go down in terms of the points table. But Team Swag, they did completely opposite and they maintained their lead, and that is just so surprising for me. B26, I mean, I remember for a fact that they were so close to Team Swag, but as I was saying, this is one team that actually leaves their pedal from the gas. They do have what it takes to get booyahs, but eventually they really release the pressure from the other teams and eventually fall in terms of the points table.
Yeah, absolutely. They eventually fell down out of the points table. But was I expecting too much coming from Team Cyanide? Because once they got with the booyah, they had a very good play. Certainly, they were getting a very good amount of kills indeed, eliminating
Yeah.
two 8 kills, and then not being able to get booyah somewhere they lost there, because if we talk about kills, they were flawless coming from this team Cyanide.
Yeah, I love the way they got their kills, to be honest, because Team Cyanide, I remember in the first few weeks, they were really struggling to perform. I remember how they were losing every fight that they were participating, but as I said, every team has actually grown
Yeah.
in the middle of this tournament itself. But Team Cyanide, I feel that they have been the most, they've been the team that grew the most out of everyone.
Yeah, and it's good that we are getting to witness each team grow into a positive manner. Yes, there are some good days, there are some bad days. You cannot have all days
Yeah.
in your pocket. So maybe for some teams it was not a good day, but overall it was not a day where we can say that this team ruled it or that team ruled it. It was a consistent play coming from Team Swag. Yes, we cannot deny that. But apart from that, there was no repetition of Booyah. That means each and every team was trying to take the best of fights possible.
Absolutely. I mean, we didn't see a repetition of Booyah, I guess. Team Cyanide, did they get a repetition? No, not really. It was Team Infinity who captured that. So, I mean, I would say that a lot of teams have been very consistent, but most of the teams from Group A, they've been a different unit altogether. Electro and Infinity, the way these two teams play, I love the fact how they are performing every day and are in the top 5 consistently every day that they play. That is not easy. If you look at the group, Tanya, I feel that Infinity is going to be one team that is like having the most number of league points. It just goes to show that how Infinity and Electro are superior from the other teams who are there in Group A.
Yeah, they are into their 70s, whereas other teams are into their 60s and 50s. And I'm not counting below that, but yes, the fight is between 70, 60, and 50s. So it is the only team who has scored more than 70 points. So Infinity is certainly performing very well. We are going to get to see leaderboards, but is there any particular play that you love today? And before that, our scoreboard is already ready. We are not going to make the viewers wait. So yes, it was the day for Team Swag, very consistent with only one booyah. But yes, look at the amount of standing points. It is 47 points somewhere, not getting booyah, but always landing up into the top 3. That is what they made the day for their name, which is total of 80 points, followed by Team Electro, 76 points, and Team Cyanide grew very well from they were on 5th or 6th somewhere, and then they are in top 3. That is good to see with total of 72 points. Please carry on from here, Salty.
Yeah, I mean, Team Infinity. We talked about how Team Infinity was in the second place after the booyah that they got, but just after the final game, they dropped out of the 4th spot, and there is a very big buffer, 76 points, 72 points, and then directly at 63 points. So certainly, Team Infinity did lose out on the final game, but the one surprising team that actually comes up is going to be Team Riot. I mean, look at that. I mean, just have a look, Tanya. Team Swag, they have one booyah, but they have 47 placement points to work with. Team Riot, they also have one booyah, but only 29 points to work with. And this is not a team who I would say that they get 18 kills from the entire day. I have seen Team Riot get almost more than 60 kills in a single day. And compare that to an 18 kill day for Team Riot. That is definitely not the Team Riot that I know of. Certainly, I mean, teams do have bad days and teams do have good days, but I'm kind of worried for this particular team, to be honest, Anya, because like form is really important for a particular team to win a big tournament. Especially we see this in different sporting events. When there's a league, some teams perform really well in the early stages of the league stage where they develop such a big lead, there's no one catching them up. But at the ending stage of the at the ending stage of the league, when it's the business end, when everything gets decided, uh that is the moment where some of these teams, they'll kind of tend to lose out on their form, and that just becomes so fatal. Team Riot, if they lose this particular form going into the grand finals, I'm not really sure if that's going to be very healthy for them, because they might eventually not be the winners or not be even in the top 3. And that is something which I don't really think Team Riot deserves. But form is just so important. It can completely overturn how the entire tournament shapes up. We'll have to see what happens, though. But today, certainly not Team Riot's day.
Yeah, certainly it was not. But I like how Team Electro performed today. That I always say it is a electrifying performance coming from them. They were the highest fragger, even though Team Swag is on rank 1 with the position points, but they only had 33 kills. It is only Team Electro who did manage to get 38 kills, and that is how with that these number of kills they are on position 2. So for today, yes, it was the day for Team Swag, but Team Electro definitely performed very well. Out of all these days, it was the best day by far coming from Team Electro and for them.
Absolutely, I guess Team Electro, they had a roller coaster ride. To be honest, every fight that they were participating, it was like it was pretty easy for them to take these fights. They had the superior positioning, they had the superior guns to work with, and eventually, as you rightly mentioned, their teamwork is always on point. And I felt like Team Electro, they built up on that eventually as the entire tournament progressed. Team Infinity, Team Electro, they kind of build up on that initial dominance that they showed in week 1, and now they're even greater teams. You remember how, Tanya, when it was week 1, we got to see how Group B was so dominating than the other groups. I mean, Group A and Group C was nowhere near, but now Group A as well as Group C as well as the other groups, they're giving very tough competition to the teams from Group B, and that just is just so amazing.
Yeah, I totally remember the conversation, Salty, where we used to discuss that if there's no team B, the matches are going to be way passive. We used to miss Group B, that we need that action, we need that Group B, but now it is not the scenario. We are getting to see even more action coming from Group A. Yes, Group C is definitely improvising. We would not say that they are giving their best performance as possible. There are certain teams who are already taking the upshifts in their particular column, but it is Group A now. Group B needs to get a little bit of threatened. No, no, threatened would not be the right word, but yes, they should be afraid of Group A, because
Yeah.
there were days when Group B was definitely ruling, but now are the days, the progressing days. Now it is Group A who is definitely ruling.
Absolutely. I'm not really worried about Group B though. I guess when the time comes, I kind of feel that they will eventually perform, but definitely we'll have a look at the tournament format up front. But I mean this is the way to go, to be honest. The number of filtering that goes on for each and every team out there, it just goes to show that we only want the best out of the Bangladeshi champs. We had the FFC mode qualifier to start with, from which the top 40 teams advanced to the closed qualifiers, which happened off stream. From the closed qualifiers, only the top 18 teams were selected for the league season, and that is going on right now. We are at the business end of the league season, and here we will decide who are the top 6 teams who will proceed to the grand finals. Top 2 from every group, from the 3 groups, that makes it 6 teams, proceed to the grand finals directly. The rest of the 12 teams that remain, there is no elimination, remind you. All these 12 teams will actually battle it out in the grand finals play-ins, from which the top 6 teams will qualify to the grand finals. So once again, as I say always, the play-ins, it's an actual graveyard, to be honest, because you get only one day, 6 games, and you have to come out in the top 6. That is one place where all the placements, all the positionings, all the kills come into play. But eventually, we'll have a look at the format of the points as well. The Leadpoint Conversion is something which is almost the second most, or probably the most important thing in this tournament itself. You're fighting for points for a single day. Absolutely, but it doesn't really matter where you stay on the actual points table, because all you have to do is try and remain on top of teams from your own group. Just have a look at team Group B1. All right, Group B1 is the team from Group B, and this particular team is above all the other teams from Group B. This team, he will get 20 points out of the entire scorecard that we can see on the right-hand side. Doesn't really matter if he's third in the points table, the entire points table, or doesn't really matter if he's fifth as compared to other teams from Group A. All that matters is Group B1, team from Group B, that is placed first, of course, is above all the teams from his own group, and that is all that matters. Similarly, teams from Group A, if you're above teams from your own group, you will get 20 points. If you're second position, you get 17 points to work with. If you're third, you get 14 points. And if you're fourth, 10 points, 7 points, fifth, 4 points respectively. So it just goes to show that you can't roll out of the competition. We have seen teams initially who get 4 booyahs on a trot get 100 points, but eventually all they get at the end of the day is just 20 points to work with. We have seen teams not really performing well, but eventually they come in from behind, especially Team Cyanide. They're a great example of it. They had almost like 4 points at the end of like week one, or I mean day one, but eventually they came up top. But eventually we'll have a look at what are the standings like, and where does the entire tournament stand at the moment, Tanya. Like, I want to hear from you. What are your guesses?
Yeah,
Who's going to be top? Oh, I mean, there's no point in guesses. The results are on our screen. It's like getting the results of an exam even before appearing for answering. But nonetheless, Tanya, go ahead with
Yeah,
discussing the league standings.
yeah, it was way easier for me to. I mean, I did not get the chance to predict, and thanks to the production team for making my way work very easier. So, Group A, Team Infinity made it for the day with total of 88 points, but somewhere very good performance coming from Team Electro. They are sharing the points with 88 points as well, but somewhere placement points does matter. That is how the position 1 and 2 is going to be defined. Talking about Group B, sorry, it is Group C, B26 Mystics not performing very well today. They were about an average performance, but still standing tall on position 1 with total of 75 points. Team Rage definitely grew good with 72 points. So yes, I'm feeling good for Team Electro, that I already said, highest fragging team and consistent as well. Best team support comes from this team, but somewhere for Team Cyanide, the growth was restricted. They could have been done, they could have done way better, but still they do have 2 more league days to fight out for. We wish the best coming for each and every team.
Yeah, Tanya, of course. I mean, GB2L Esports and Team Cyanide, they have a buffer of 33 points between team number 1 and team number 2, and I don't really think they will be able to conquer that in a matter of 2 days. But look at Group C, though. I mean, this hurts me, to be honest, because B26 Mystics 75 points, of course. But look at team number 4, Team Swag, with 71 points. Like, after an entire grueling league season, the difference between the first position team from Group C and the fourth position team from Group C is just a matter of 4 points. And this just makes me mad, to be honest, because all these teams, they deserve to go to the grand finals directly, Tanya, but only 2 of them are gonna make it. This makes the entire fight for Group C even more painstaking. We have to remember that they don't get to play 2 more days. They have only 1 day to play in week 3, and that is gonna decide which of these 4 teams are gonna make it to the grand finals directly. And I just have no idea what's coming, to be honest, because all these teams, they deservedly should get a slot in the grand finals directly, but eventually they have another opportunity. No eliminations, only play-ins.
Yeah, they have they definitely have this opportunity, and you also would want all the updates for who was the man of the match, who was not, so that you to get the easy updates. Make sure you follow all the social media handles; they are right in front of your screen, and make sure you follow Facebook page, YouTube. Yes, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Instagram page as well as the official TikTok channel that we have. So guys, make sure to follow to get updated as early as possible, because I and Salty are definitely wanting to get aware as early as possible about which team's performance is getting better, which is tumbling down, and I would want you as the viewers also want the same.
Of course. I mean, if you watch the stream, you would know for certain who is being the MVP, which team is going to go up. But if you kind of miss out on one particular day of the stream, let's say you're busy. Let's say you're busy with some work. You miss out on the day stream, but that doesn't really matter because you have the Instagram to save you, and you will get all the updates of what has happened in the entire day. But we have a tradition here at Free Fire. We want to give back to the audience, and that is through the redeem code. Once again, the redeem code comes on your screen right in a few seconds. Yep, there you go. The redeem code is out there. You redeem the code at reward.ff.garena.com. It is valid till 2nd of March 2021 at till 12 a.m. So make sure you're kind of quick. You go to the site and use the code to get a very good skin for yourself, because I and Tanya, we're going to hop onto that site just after this stream, because I don't know about you, Tanya. I love free stuff. I absolutely love free stuff.
Indeed, we all love free stuff, and the moment we will say bye bye, I'm going to make sure that I rush to this website and get myself free skin. And please, it is a token of love. Make sure you also get this free skin, because it is the rewards that it is your time that you took out for us and for these teams. You are being paid off by Garena, so make sure you use it, you redeem it, and this is what is the token of love. And who doesn't want love?
Absolutely. Everyone wants love, especially me. Nonetheless, I have a lot of people who love me, especially Tanya and Mamba and whatnot. But talking about the entirety of week or day 7, Tanya, we had lots of good games. We had lots of good teams performing. I guess teams are only going to build up from this particular point on. The league stage is coming to an end. The groups are coming to a close. We are having some sort of idea which teams are going to qualify to the grand finals directly. I mean, we know Group A is almost decided. Infinity Electro with 88 points each, they are going to qualify. Group B, they will fight out tomorrow, and we'll get to see which are the two teams who will be out there. But I wonder what is going to happen from Group C, to be honest, because that group, it's as I said, it's just the group of death. Nonetheless, Tanya, do you have any sort of final words for the day before we move on to the interview?
All I would say is thank you to the viewers you joined and gave us this time, giving us this love and support. I do tend to see repetitive hashtags coming for me as well as Salty liking our commentary. So, guys, make sure to share this sort of love over and over again because, yes, we are going to share the screens over and over again.
Absolutely. And I guess with that being said, me, Salty, as well as Tanya, we're going to sign off. We had Mamba as well. So, from Mamba as well. So, we three, we're going to sign off for today. We'll see you tomorrow with more action. Till then, stay tuned and watch Free Fire Bangladesh Championship. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's me again, Kelly! Huge thanks to all of you for the warm support to Free Fire esports in the past years. I know all of us can't wait to find out what's next for Free Fire esports in 2021. So today, I am very excited to share with you what we've achieved so far and what we are planning for this year. Let's start with our biggest esports event in 2020, the Free Fire Continental Series. By the way, I hope you still remember my terrific performance at the opening ceremony. We broke records with the Asia Series, where 2.5 million of you tuned in to us live. The America Series also had a peak of over 1.7 million live viewers. Meanwhile, the EMEA Series also drew in nearly 300,000 live viewers, creating new viewership records for us in the CIS and Middle East regions. Your support was absolutely amazing! The Free Fire family just keeps growing. You guys rock! The World Series, together with the rest of our tournaments, pushed Free Fire into the top 5 most watched games on YouTube in 2020. Last but not least, we won the Esports Mobile Game of the Year at the Esports Awards 2020. We are humbled by your passion and love for Free Fire esports. This award is yours as much as it is ours. Hayato, it's your turn to talk about the World Series.
Sure. We have continuously expanded our esports outreach throughout the world, and the number of participating regions have grown massively. We started with 9 regions at our very first international tournament, the Free Fire World Cup. Over the past 2 years, our esports community has grown to include India, Russia, the Middle East, and the Pakistan regions. Our plans to grow further do not stop here. And in 2021, we'll be adding Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Philippines as competitive regions. Next, we're proud to present the brand new logo and format for the Free Fire World Series, our largest and most iconic tournament of the year. This year will be bigger than ever before. There will be 2 World Series in 2021. The first World Series will be taking place in Asia during April, while the second World Series will be hosted in November. In addition to these, there will be another international tournament around July. So stay tuned for the rest of the year.
In 2021, we will continue to work hard and provide more engaging esports events and content. We are excited to see Free Fire esports grow bigger this year, and we know we can do it with you as our loyal fans. That's all for now, and we will meet again very soon in April for the World Series.
See you soon!
Hi survivors, subscribe and press the bell icon for more awesome content. See you in the next video.
Lasted the gaming with Naime, don't eliminate. এমজিআর যে টিমটা চলে আসছে লাস্টের দিকে গেমিং উইথ নাইমে don't eliminate.
Hi, survivors! It's me again, Kelly! Huge thanks to all of you for the warm support to Free Fire esports in the past years. I know all of us can't wait to find out what's next for Free Fire esports in 2021. So today, I am very excited to share with you what we've achieved so far and what we are planning for this year. Let's start with our biggest esports event in 2020, the Free Fire Continental Series. By the way, I hope you still remember my terrific performance at the opening ceremony. We broke records with the Asia.
সো ওয়েলকাম ব্যাক গাইজ। আমরা কিন্তু চলে এসেছি টিম B26 এর সাথে একটা ছোট্ট খাট্ট ইন্টারভিউ সেকশনে, এবং তারা কিন্তু আজকেও একটা বুয়া নিয়েছে। পুরো টুর্নামেন্ট জুড়ে কিন্তু B26 টোটালি ডমিনেটিং পারফরমেন্স করতেছে, এবং তাদের সাথে আজকে আমরা কথা বলবো, গল্প করব, তাদের বিভিন্ন কিছু জানার চেষ্টা করবো। সো প্রথমে তাদেরকে ওয়েলকাম জানাই। ওয়েলকাম শর্টস ভাই এবং নুবি ভাই, কেমন আছেন আপনারা?
থ্যাংক ইউ ফর হ্যাভিং আস।
ওকে, সো প্রথমে আপনাদের উপরে একটা কোশ্চেন থাকবে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে আপনারা যেই স্কোয়াডটা করেছেন বা স্কোয়াডে খেলছেন B26, ওয়ান অফ দ্য মোস্ট ফেমাস স্কোয়াড ইন বাংলাদেশ, অনেক বড় বড় অ্যাচিভমেন্ট আছে আপনাদের। সো আমার কোশ্চেন হচ্ছে যে FFBCর মতো এত বড় একটা প্ল্যাটফর্মে এসে আপনারা যেরকম ডমিনেটিং পারফরমেন্স করতেছেন, সেটার ব্যাপারে আপনাদের অনুভূতি কি? আপনাদের কেমন লাগতেছে এই ধরনের পারফরমেন্স দেখানোর পরে? আপনাদের এক্সপেকটেশন কিরকম ছিল এবং সেটা কতটুকু সফল করতে পেরেছেন?
আচ্ছা, এখানে এখানে সবাই অনেক বেস্ট টিমস আছে, বাংলাদেশের সব থেকে বড় বড় টিম এখানে আছে। তো এখানে আমরা খেলতেছি, এটাই আমাদের কাছে অনেক, ঠিক আছে। আর এখানে যদি আমাদের এক্সপিরিয়েন্সটা বলি, জাস্ট ওয়াসাম, বিকজ এত বড় একটা প্ল্যাটফর্মে আমরা এখানে এসে খেলতেছি। আমরা এখান থেকে আমাদের ভালো একটা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করেছি। আমরা জাস্ট অ্যাভারেজটা টার্গেট করেছি প্রথম দিক থেকে, এখনো সেটাই করতেছি। অ্যান্ড আমাদের লাস্ট ডেট থাকবে যাতে আমরা আমাদের যে পজিশনটা এখন আছে, আমাদের গ্রুপে আমরা একদম ফার্স্ট পজিশনে বসে আছি, তো এটা যেন থাকি বা স্টেবল থাকে। তো এটাই জাস্ট।
আমি যদি বলি, আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল আপনাদের কাছে। সো আপনাদের স্কোয়াডের স্টার্টিংটা কখন হয় আসলে, মানে শুরুটা কখন হয় আপনাদের স্কোয়াডের? এই B26 এর স্টার্টিংটা কখন হয়?
মিলা ভাই, এটা বলেন আপনি।
আমাদের B26 নামে স্টার্টিংটা 2020-এই হয়, কিন্তু B26 নামের আগেই আমরা স্টার্টিং করেছিলাম। তখন 2008 থেকে আমরা একসাথে থেকে গেম খেলতেছি, এই কোন পর্যন্ত একসাথে।
আচ্ছা, মানে আপনারা সবাই একসাথে স্টার্ট করেন গেমটা, এবং আপনাদের স্কোয়াডটা তখন থেকে স্টার্ট হয় 2020-এ?
জি জি, B26 নামটা আমরা দেই 2020।
আচ্ছা, এর আগে কি আপনারা কি আলাদা ছিলেন নাকি একসাথেই ছিলেন? আগে যখন থেকে স্টার্ট করছেন গেম তখন থেকে একসাথে ছিলেন, কোনটা?
না, অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমাদের মধ্যে যে বর্তমানে যে স্পোর্টস ভাইবটা আছে আমাদের বাংলাদেশের মধ্যে, এটা আসলে আমাদের আসছিল হচ্ছে 2018-তে, যখন ফার্স্ট ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ হয়েছিল 2018 লাস্টের দিকে সামথিং। তো তখন আর কি করেনচিয়ান্স নাম বা SCCP সবাই চেনে আর কি। তারা চ্যাম্পিয়ন হয়েছিল ওই টুর্নামেন্টের। তখন থেকে আমরা জাস্ট টুকটাক জাস্ট ফানের জন্য গেম খেলতাম, জাস্ট চিলের জন্য, যে মজা করতেছি গেম খেলি। যখন আমরা টুর্নামেন্টটা ফলো করি এবং দেখি যে এত বড় একটা কিছু জাস্ট একটা গেম থেকে অ্যাচিভ করা যাচ্ছে, তো আমরাও ওইখান থেকে আর কি মোটিভেটেড হই। অ্যান্ড 2020 সালে এসে আমরা প্রফেশনাল ভাবে এটার দিকে আর কি নজর দিই।
যাক, খুব ভালো, খুব সুন্দর। সো আপনাদের কাছে আরেকটা কোশ্চেন আমার আছে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে FFBC তে সো ফার আপনারা তো বেশ ডমিনেটিং পারফরমেন্স করতেছেন, আপনারা প্রায় 3-4টার উপরে বুয়া নিয়েছেন। সো ফার আপনাদের কাছে কোন টিমকে খুব হার্ড লেগেছে বা আপনাদের টপ নচ কম্পিটিটর মনে হয়েছে, বা এদের সাথে আপনারা ফাইটটা একটু চেষ্টা করেছেন অ্যাভয়েড করতে, বা সামথিং লাইক দ্যাট? কাদের সাথে আপনাদের ফাইটটা খুব বেশি হয়েছে বা ডমিনেটিং মনে হচ্ছে?
ডমিনেটিং বলতে এখানে যারা আছে তারা সবাই বেস্ট, ঠিক আছে। তো এদের সাথে যে আমরা খেলতেছি এটাই আমাদের জন্য একটা ভালো। বাট এখানে যদি আমি বলি যে কাকে আমরা বেশি করতেছি আর কি, তো আহ, এটা বলবো হচ্ছে আমরা নিজেদেরকেই, ঠিক আছে? কারণ হচ্ছে মনে করেন আমি যদি আমার নিজের টিমটাকে ঠিক রাখতে পারি, তো সামনে যেই আসুক না কেন উই ক্যান ডিফেন্ড দ্যাট। তো
বাহ,
এটাই ভাই।
ভেরি
আচ্ছা,
ওয়েল অ্যান্সার্ড।
আপনাদের আপনাদের টুর্নামেন্টের সময় নার্ভাসনেসটা কেমন কাজ করে? আমি আসলে সেটা জানতে চাই। মানে অন্যান্য অপোনেন্টের সাথে যখন ফেস করেন, অন্যান্য এনিমি যখন আপনাদের সামনাসামনি আসে শর্ট রেঞ্জের মধ্যে বিশেষ করে। লং রেঞ্জে আসলে সবাই কিন্তু আসলে নিজেদের অ্যাডভান্স নিজেদের স্কিল আসলে ভালোই শো করতে পারে। বাট মেইন নার্ভাসনেসটা ক্রিয়েট হয় কিন্তু আসলে ক্লোজ রেঞ্জে। ইভেন একটা এনিমির সামনে যখন ডাবল ভেক্টর থাকে তখন কি করেন আপনারা? আপনাদের তখন নার্ভাসনেসটা কেমন কাজ করে আসলে যখন এনিমির কাছে ডাবল ভেক্টর থাকে?
ভাই বলো।
এই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা সবসময় একটু আনএক্সপেক্টেড থাকি, থাকি, ভয়ে থাকি যে কখন থার্ড পার্টি হবে। তো সেই অনুযায়ী আমরা সবসময় চেষ্টা করি যে শর্ট রেঞ্জ
মিলন ভাই আপনার ভয়েস চলে গেছে। লাইক এখানে হয় কি, লাইক শর্ট রেঞ্জে যখন ধরো এনিমিগুলো ঢোকে, আমাদের লাইক এখানে খেলাটা এমন হয় যে ফার্স্টে আপনাদের কে স্পট করতে পারবে তারাই ঠিক আছে আপনাকে লাইক প্রথমে শুট দিবে, বা আপনি যদি স্পট না করতে পারে প্লেয়ারকে, যখন আমরা শর্ট রেঞ্জে লাইক আজকে একটা হয়েছে যে লাইক আমরা শর্ট রেঞ্জে জাস্ট কাভার নিয়ে বসে আছি, আমরা এক্সপেক্ট করি নাই যে একটা টিম আমাদের সাইড থেকে ঢুকবে, ঠিক আছে? বিকজ দ্য জোন ইজ শ্রিঙ্কিং এন্ড আমরা আশেপাশে দেখতেছি বাট একটা সাইডে আমরা
কালাহারিতে।
দেখতেছিলাম না। জি 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 লাইক আমরা একটা সাইড পুরো অ্যাভয়েড করতেছিলাম, ওটা হচ্ছে আমাদের সব থেকে বড় মিস্টেক ছিল। আর যার কারণে ওইখানে আমাদের একটা ব্যাড লাক কাজ করে
সায়ানাইড
আর
অ্যাটাক
ডাবল
করেছিল
ভেক্টর।
আপনাদের উপর।
জি 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 তো ওইটা আসলে ওরকমই আর কি, লাইক সব দিকে মানে খেলার সময় আর কি সব দিকে নজর রাখতে হয়, এটা একটা বড় মিস্টেক আমাদের আজকে হয়ে গেছে, যার কারণে আমাদের লাইক একটা ম্যাচ পুরো এটা একটা কস্ট দেওয়া লাগছে যে
আচ্ছা, আমার
আমাদের
একটা শেষ কোয়েশ্চেন যেটা ছিল সেটা হচ্ছে আপনাদের রোল প্লেটা কি আপনারা আগে থেকে সিলেক্ট করে রাখেন নাকি ইনস্ট্যান্ট সিলেক্ট হয় যখন ধরেন একজন টিমমেট ওয়াইপড আউট হইছে বা
না না না
ডেড হইছে, বা
একটা
আপনারা আগে থেকে সিলেক্ট করেন?
না, একটা প্রফেশনাল টিমের আসলে রোলটা আগে থেকে সেট করা থাকে, লাইক ইউ হ্যাভ টু ডু দিস, ইউ হ্যাভ টু ডু দ্যাট। তো সেক্ষেত্রে আমরা আগে থেকে প্রিপারেশন নিয়ে রাখি, ঠিক আছে? বাট লাইক সার্টেন টাইমস লাইক গেমের মধ্যে মাঝে মধ্যে আমাদের একটু ডিফারেন্ট চিন্তা ভাবনা করতে হয় যে সামনের টিম আমাদেরকে কিভাবে অ্যাপ্রোচ করতেছে, আমরা আমাদের কিভাবে ডিফেন্ড করব, লাইক এভাবে, কারণ সবকিছু লাইক ডিফেন্ড করতে হয় মাঝে মধ্যে আর কি গেমের মধ্যে, বাকিটা সব রোলটা
মাঝে
আসলে
মধ্যে
ডিসাইড করা থাকে।
ইনস্ট্যান্ট রোল চেঞ্জ করতে হয় আর কি, কারণ কখনো
হুম
কারো নেট ভালো থাকে তো কারো নেট খারাপ থাকে, সেই মুহূর্তে রোলটা চেঞ্জ করতে হয়, যে রাশার যে থাকে সে সাপোর্টে চলে যায়, কারণ নেট খারাপ নেট অবস্থায় যদি যায় তাহলে গ্লোয়াল ড্রপ হবে, পরে নক হওয়ার সম্ভাবনা বেশি। টিমমেটের একজন আগে নক হয়ে গেলে এটা খুবই ডিসঅ্যাডভান্টেজ থাকে।
একদমই, একদমই। আসলে অ্যাডাপ্ট করতে হয়। সিচুয়েশন বুঝে কিন্তু অ্যাডাপ্ট করাটাই কিন্তু আসলে ভালো একটা লক্ষণ। আসলে একটা ভালো একটা টিম কিন্তু অল টাইম কিন্তু সিচুয়েশনের উপরে কিন্তু অ্যাডাপ্ট করে।
সো আমি একটা লাস্ট কোশ্চেন করে আজকে শেষ করে দিব। সেটা হচ্ছে যে আপনাদের তো ফ্যান ফলোয়ার্স প্রচুর আছে, মোটামুটি এত বড় টুর্নামেন্টে খেলতেছেন। সো আপনাদেরকে যারা ফলো করে, আপনাদের যারা ফ্যান্স, তাদের উদ্দেশ্যে কোনো কথা বা কিছু যদি বলতে চান এই লাইভে।
ভাই বলো।
হ্যাঁ, প্রথমত বলবো যে আসলে ইচ্ছাই সবকিছু। গেমের মধ্যে ওঠানামা আছে, কখনো হার আছে, কখনো জিত আছে, কিন্তু আসলে এগুলো নিয়ে আগাইতে হয়, কারণ হারটা বেশি এক্সপিরিয়েন্স দেয়, যে সামনের কোনো প্ল্যাটফর্মে আসলে ওইটা আমরা শিক্ষা অর্জন করতে পারি হারের মধ্যে। তো আমি মনে করি যে হার জিত যেটাই হোক না কেন, ইচ্ছাটা যেটাই থাকে সেটাকে সামনে রেখে আগায় যেতে হবে, প্রচুর প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে, ইনশাল্লাহ এরকম পর্যায়ে আসা সম্ভব।
একদম। সো মাসুদ ভাই, আপনার তো আসলে আর কিছু নেই না কোয়েশ্চেন করা?
না।
ওকে। All right. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's interview with B26. And this is the Butcher's Outlaw with Anono Masud and B26 Shots and B26 Nubi signing out from today's live stream. Over and out.
you.